Hello everyone, Tactical Lich here, and welcome back to another Wednesday Faction Wars, but we're not going into the 20 action right now. Round 1 is happening, but I got a buy round, specifically to just quickly go through the patch notes changes for this 7.0 patch. The embargo lifted, so I can talk about it, and I think they already posted the patch notes. I didn't quite actually check whether we have the patch notes yet, because fun times of working, I didn't have time to check the patch notes yet for the official post. So let me just check if I can load up the website instead of using the instead of using the PDF here. Warhammer Total War, let's see. I am not sure if they actually have the official patch notes out yet. But anyways, yeah, for the patch notes, the embargo lifted, so I'm just using the PDF right now. We're just looking at the battle balance changes, because I don't really play campaign these days. Let's have a look here. Overall, Borain summarized it in the Discord group chat very well. It's literally just dragons got a mass increase, certain units got cheaper. That's about it. Nothing too fundamental, nothing too impactful in terms of the balance as a whole, I think. Like if we look at starting from the general changes, Chaos and the Demon Princes got... Wait, something I didn't realize is the Undivided Demon Prince was not armor piercing. Like, what? What? That makes no sense. Every single greater demon is armor piercing, but a demon prince wasn't. That's just weird. But yeah, they are armor piercing soon, so there's that, I guess. Yeah, they got some weapon strength armor piercing buffs for the Slaanesh ones, for the Tzeentch Demon Prince as well. Tzeentch Demon Prince makes sense because they're supposed to be more caster heavy than melee heavy, but yeah. The Cult one Dread Knights got a slight buff, got a little bit more HP and charge bonus. I still don't think that's gonna make them a major threat on the battle at all. It's mostly, I think it's mostly just gonna be, yeah, I think they're still gonna be kind of obsolete. Mostly just we're gonna see Cult one Knights. All the dragons got a 1000 increase in mass and a little bit more nimble when they fly around. More turn speed and quicker in flight. So 90 speed to 95 speed now. Demon Slayer got from the Dwarves army got Siege Attacker trait, which it's a very nothing burger for multiplayer battles. Empire, these Knights of Everlasting Light and Knights of More, they both are campaign only, so it doesn't really matter. Although in battles where campaign units are allowed, they might be slightly better. Only slightly though, very slightly. Elspeth from Draken on the Carmine Dragon also got the same dragon buff, so nothing too major. Engineer from the Empire army actually got a slight nerf with the armor piercing, basically the missile damage profile, so that would be quite neat, I would say. Yeah, because right now they're still very strong with their skirmishing firepower, so I don't see them as a balanced unit. Like, you can only bring one of them, you can't bring two. They're still very strong. They're probably still going to be very strong in the future, but hey, oh well. At least they're not as oppressive as before. Oh, actually, I need to do some shameless self-plugging on some other Discord channels. First, give me a quick second. Let me just do that while we continue with the rest of our stream. Yeah. Alright, cool. Yep. Let's see. Grand Cathay, all three dragons got the same dragon buff. Oh, actually, they got slightly more speed increase than your regular dragon, from 80 speed to 90. They're still, like, they're still gonna be the meta lords of Grand Cathay after all, and yeah. I don't think they really need that mass increase, but I guess good for them. Loven Seaguards and Storm Riders have aquatic trait. I guess it's just to make them in line with the other Navy units. Well, I say Navy units, but it's really just Navy unit with the ship's company, with the naval update. Well, we're kind of getting a naval update, but we're also not... It's not actually a naval battle update, so there's that. For High Elves, their dragons are, of course, getting the same buff, really. Oh, Sun Dragon, Moon Dragon mounts got 95 speed... From 95 speed to 100. They're gonna be fast. They are gonna be a fast dragon. Yeah, but otherwise... They got some increase in mass and speed and whatnot. Wrathmongers got a reduction in melee defense. That would be nice, because they are supposed to be a berserker kind of unit, right? Putting their focus on offense and less on defense. So they are supposed... I feel like having them as a very survivable tanky unit was kind of off the point of them. So seeing them having a melee defense nerf is nice. Kislev Warriors got a melee stat debuff, but also got cheaper as a result. So yeah, that's gonna be nice for Kislev for sure. Oh, I'm gonna be playing Kislev today, so Wrathmonger nerfs, I think that's fine, because Wrathmongers honestly is just a bit overtuned, because it's really hard to fight them. They are immune to flanking, they are tanky as hell, and they do a crap ton of damage, and if you're fighting it, it's hard to figure out what to do against it. Like, are you supposed to fight it in melee? You're gonna get crushed. If you want to shoot it, well, they're an infantry unit, so it's very hard to actually shoot them. You can't even rear charge them. You can, but they have immune to flanking. So, yeah, it's a rough unit to... DLC creep, though, I don't know. I feel like, yeah, I do agree with DLC creep. There are some broken stuff you can do with this DLC. Yeah, but and yeah, but I don't entirely think this is a DLC creep, at least not for Norskin. From what I see, it's more like just DLC bring them up to the rest of the factions kind of level. They were pretty... Their options were quite limited from before, but now they seem to have a lot more flesh out as like a full roster. For Kislev Warriors, yeah, you can see, yeah, cost reduction with a slight stat nerf to compensate for the cheaper cost. Things in the Woods now gets Vanguard deployment, which makes sense because they're supposed to be like a creeping through... Oh, Wrathmongers were DLC creep. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Those are... it's literally just a stat stick. They just slap a bunch of stats on the unit and they just beat everything in front of them. It's not... I wouldn't say it's a balanced unit from... Alright, but it's also very hard to balance Khorne. They only have one gimmick, and if you make them too good at that certain gimmick, it actually makes the game not fun because they just beat everything, like the Wrathmongers. But if they're too weak, then you have the Chaos Warriors of Khorne, which is kind of shit. So yeah, it's hard to balance this kind of one single gimmick, because other units, other factions, you've got the healing stuff you can nerf. Like there is a lot more stuff going on for them, which makes balancing more interesting. You don't necessarily have to just adjust their stat lines and call it a day. You can fine tune like healing. You can fine tune spell damage, resistances, that sort of stuff. Like, yeah, you can make them better at cavalry fights, make them faster, adding some additional charge impact with their abilities and stuff. But Khorne, it's hard to do with like just melee stat adjustments, right? Or straight up resistances. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard with Khorne. Like, you can only buff their melee, and you can only adjust their melee profile, and you can't really... There's not a lot of space to work around those. Anyways, for the rest of the patch notes here, Elemental Bear and Frozen Heart of Winter got slight stat buffs. Wait, they didn't have Warbreaker before? What the fuck? If Kislev has one unit that should get Warbreaker, it should be the Elemental Bear. I didn't even realize that. Anyways, Lizardman, Pharaoh, Dreadsaurian, 65 morale. Like, all the Dreadsaurians got a morale buff. Huh, interesting. Let's see how it impacts them. I don't think there's going to be a lot of changes in terms of how you play the Dreadsaurian build. They're just going to hang around in the fight a tiny little bit longer. That's about it. Horn ones get a bit of melee defense buff, but nothing too substantial. Norscan Ice Wolves got a cost reduction. I for one am very welcome on that change, because damn, Norscan Ice Wolves have always been kind of expensive in my opinion, and I just don't really use them because, well, I can't fit them in my build. I have to bring the cheaper Norscan Warhounds instead. Chariot's got a cost increase. Nobody uses Ice Wolf Chariots already. Like, you don't have to do this. Well, I guess you gain some, you lose some, as the Norscans. Marauder Chariot's got a bit of hit points increase, but that's, well, 26 HP per entity, and you have 4 entities in like a large unit scale, so not a whole lot. Nergal, we have Toad Dragon cost reduction. Yeah, that's fine. And the Plague Drones, to be specific, the Rot Flies got a bit more armor. So as a result, the Plague Drones got more armor as well, up to 50. It's not gonna be too impactful, I guess, for the Plague Drones, Rot Flies, that sort of stuff, because it's just 10 to 20 armor. It's not that much. But they do have reduced entities hit by their splash attacks. So that means their attacks in melee will be a lot more impactful. Because the damage is split between less entities, and we're just doing more damage per model. Yeah, so I guess that's what CA is trying to do to help make these Plague Drones fight a bit better in melee as well. Same goes for the Rot Flies. The Death's Heads are turned into grenades now, so that might be a bit of a trouble for if you are a unit with if you're an infantry unit. Interesting. Well, we'll see what happens in the actual patch, but yeah, it's gonna be. We'll need to do some testing with it. We'll need to do some testing when we get to play. When we play the 7.0. Ogre Kingdom Slaughtermaster got a 50 gold increase. Makes sense. I guess it's nothing too insane. But definitely makes them a bit more costly to field. Same goes for Lead Belchers, which I do tend to agree, because Lead Belchers is just such an effective artillery unit, man. They're so good. And Saber Tusk Pack got a cost increase as well. So it's gonna be more expensive to play Ogre Kingdoms, but that's about it. I guess I'll just bring one less Nobbler Chaff unit. Skavens. Oh, we're already down to Skavens. Damn, we're fast. Actually, we'll need to check if we need to start playing with round 2. No, people are still playing in round 1. Okay, cool. We have some more time. All right, let's see. Let me just load back up this thingy. Yep, the Skaven Wheels of Doom got a cost reduction, while Brute Horrors, Mutant Red Ogres got a mass increase, while Storm Vermins got a cost reduction. So, okay, we might see some Storm Vermin spam from now on. Yeah, 100 gold cost reduction is quite substantial for a high tier infantry unit. Although, well, they're not like an elite among elite. They're elite among Skavens, but it's Skaven, so yeah, but we might actually see a wall of a Clan Wars build, to say the least. It's gonna be a Clan Wars build with Storm Vermin Horde. Domiel's recruitment cost reduction, yeah, nothing too insane, I guess. The more impactful thing is just the Storm Vermin cost reduction for Skavens. For Slaanesh, their cost increase for Heartseekers, and Exalted Keeper of Secrets has more missile block chance. Interesting. Making them mitigate even more incoming missile damage, I guess. That would be neat. That's pretty neat. Making them slightly less vulnerable to missile spam. Keeper of Secrets and Marquis of Masochism got a massive hit points increase. That's I don't know what to think when we are looking at Slaanesh getting tankier. Like, does that make sense? I guess. But yeah, I mean, they're so fragile. They're kind of like paper anyway, so it's not too bad, I guess. It's just kind of mitigating how fragile they can be, and although they do have access to healing, so I'm not entirely sure. The healing might be a problem though, so there's that. Yeah, because the healing plus the additional hit points might make them even tankier than now. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Fiends of Slanesh got a slight cost increase. Same goes for Eternal Entourage, as they are a Heartseekers unit. Wait, why didn't you group them with the Heartseekers? Oh wait, right. It's a different recruitment cost. Okay, makes sense. Tomb Kings, nothing changed other than the High Queen Khalida with the Necro Serpent Mount increase. So nothing too worth noting. And then we have the counts. Same thing, Dragon mass increase and more nimble in disguise. Warriors of Chaos with... They forgot about that. Well. Anyways, Chaos Knights of Slanesh. Also, this is more like a draft document, so don't really have a... So it makes sense. Anyways, Warriors of Chaos, Chaos Knights of Slanesh, with a reduction in recruitment costs and reduction in recruitment costs, and then increase in Dragon mass. But yeah, nothing too crazy. Again, nothing too crazy. What else? It is really pretty much just the Dragon change. That's about it. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of changes for the units in this patch. Mostly, the main thing is the Dragon mass increase. That's about it. And some units got cheaper. So I don't see these balance changes being substantial enough to change the meta at all. It's mostly gonna be the item power. It's gonna be the DLC items, DLC units power creep. That, well, it's not really power creep in this DLC, I don't think. Except certain units. I found a really broken combo lately. Might actually make a video and put it out tomorrow, but yeah, there's one unit that is quite broken if play it under the right conditions. So yeah, there's that. But other than that, yeah, that's about it for all the main units. Let's see. What else do we have? It's just the unit abilities. Phantasmagoria has a slightly more Winds of Magic cost, and you can target away from units and target ground. Comet of Kazandora and Chalice of Potions, we've already seen the spell being cast in the short video of mine. They have a different visual now, but looks like they also have a different they have a different trajectory. It's slightly tilted instead of like immediately vertically above the target. So it kind of like the trajectory is kind of slanted. Shockwave radius is actually higher now. Harmonic Convergence has a reload speed thingy. Has increased duration, lower cost, and also added a reload speed buff to units as well. Let's see. Arena's Thunderbolt. It has a projectile velocity? I didn't even realize it's a projectile. Okay. Not sure how that changes with I'm not sure how that changes the interaction of the spell and its targets. Wind Blast has the Windstruck effect, reducing speed, and has added damage as well. Giver of Glory, that's the Chaos Warshrine item. Chaos Warshrine effect, reduced with the physical resistance buff reduced. So yeah, that's basically it for the patch. Nothing too substantial. Yeah, these items are nothing too... I don't think there's much these items do in multiplayer. Except the Sapphire Guardian Phoenix, which is an item on Caradrian. So has a 35-meter range, grants magical attacks, and 15% spell resistance. Yeah. Oh wait, no, that's not Caradrian. This is Aislin's item in multiplayer. Yeah. This is Aislin's item in multiplayer. So not only do they have Ariel provide, not only do they have Alario providing magic attack buffs, they also have Aislinn doing that in the new DLC. But yeah, that's basically it for this patch notes. Again, nothing too substantial with the balancing changes. And yeah. It's definitely not as impactful as a multiplayer balance changing patch can be, which is I guess it's kind of it's a bit of a pity, I guess. Could have been, although to be honest, Total Warhammer is in like the later stage of the whole game's life cycle. So I wouldn't expect Creative Assembly to put everything they have into maintaining this game, because if anything, investment-wise, the thing that makes more sense is actually to try and get the next project up and running, which will generate more hype and substantially more income with a new game launch. And yeah. And yeah, especially if it is like something, say, like a highly anticipated project or some sort. But yeah, the interesting fact is that Creative Assembly actually set up a new Total War channel, a new Total War Japanese Twitter lately. I think it is set up by Creative Assembly, or at least it might be Sega. Either Sega or Creative Assembly. I am not sure. But yes, there is a new Total War Twitter new Japanese Twitter for Total War. And there is going to be some big announcements coming tomorrow, so that's something that I'm looking forward myself to see. So yes, maybe they're running with a smaller crew on Total Warhammer, but I think we would need to wait till tomorrow to see whether like this kind of approach is something that we think it's good to see. Whether it's a good thing or not, I think we'll have to wait till for tomorrow to decide. So there is that. Yeah. The Giver of Glory nerf seems to be a bit harsher in Chaos War Shrines. They caught a stray from the Mammoth, in my opinion. Wait, hold on. Is it the same thing? I didn't even realize the Giver of Glory is the same thing. Nobody uses the Chaos War Shrine, to be honest. Yeah, it's the same thing. Giver of Glory, and then we have the Norskin Mammoth War Shrine. Oh shit! Yeah, they might have caught a stray there, but yeah, nobody uses the Chaos War Shrine, so maybe they just need something else to make the Chaos War Shrine worth it. But yeah, I don't know. They have the physical resist, yeah. I'm so sad that they implemented nothing from Catholic stock, given how long it's been since we got any balance tweaks. Yeah, I think the main focus of, like, right now, I think still the main focus of the game has always been single-player campaign and less about tweaking specific units. Like, you can see this in this patch, they included a lot of, like, rework on campaign mechanics. Like, I didn't play the campaign myself, but, like, there's the whole naval, like, the sea raiding mechanic with all the new naval factions. You have Norskin basically being reworked as into its own thing instead of free DLC chaos. And they also mentioned in Discord somewhere, I forgot, that they are gonna try to bring Britonia up to speed as the rest of the whole game, because it's really showing its age as a. Yeah, it's kind of showing its age as a wait, it's Buena Roja and Anarian still duking it out in multiplayer. But yeah, it's kind of showing its age as like a game one faction that has not been given any DLCs. The only new mechanic they've ever gotten was literally just It was literally just the chivalry rework, and that's about it. They never got anything new. They got some new toys here and there because other factions got them, like Gotrek and Felix. But that's about it. They never had their own update. So, like, I think CA themselves mostly will still be focusing their efforts in single player, given how it is literally the majority of their player base. Like, most of the total Warhammer player, they are playing. They are always playing single player. Rarely do they venture into multiplayer. Like, you can check the stats on the multiplayer achievement. It's like less than 10% of people. I'm not actually sure about the actual numbers, but it's a fraction of the actual players who booted up the game. So yeah, I'm also kind of sad that they don't have the most multiplayer changes, but well, I kind of just accept it as is because it makes more sense for them to put all their effort into working on single player stuff. That's my 2 cents, at least. But yeah, let's see what is gonna happen here. I do need to wait for. We still need one more matchup to finish, but okay. I'm gonna check on the players actually. Hopefully everything's going smoothly with their game. We shall see. But yeah, I am looking forward to the DLC launch. And tomorrow, it seems like they've been teasing about Nagash as well. They've, I think they dropped an animation with like a very, very necromancer vibe green ritual going on there. So most likely they're teasing about Nagash, and that, I don't know. It might even. I hope there's more updates coming, but I feel like that might be the last DLC for Total Warhammer. That's what got me worried. But yeah, I don't know. We just have to wait and see what's happening on tomorrow's big reveal. I will be tuning in on that. But yeah, we shall wait and see what happens in the big review. But yeah, can't really say anything about it because I have no idea what's gonna be revealed outside of maybe, perhaps, possibly a Shogun 3, or possibly, yeah, it may be perhaps possibly a Shogun 3 because of the Japanese Twitter thing. I think it is official, but I'm not sure. I can't say. I can't say because I have no idea. So yeah, I think it's roughly 1 day to the. Oh shit! I'm playing against Lizard. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'm gonna have to fight against an Aryan's Lizards. Right. I actually should go and set up a lobby and get my opponent in. Also, I'm really hoping that today we don't have to deal with another networking issues like last week, because that was really awkward last Wednesday. Yeah. Okay, today we're playing as Kislev. I rarely play as them, so I don't even know how to play them anymore. We're playing against Lizard, so let's just get some Kosa's spears. Front line of armored Kossars. Wait, hold on. They're gonna. They are gonna send a bunch of... Alright, cool, fine. Yeah, they're probably gonna send a bunch of skinks at me, so... Do we have any armor debuffs, actually? No, we don't have any armor debuffs. Damn! It would have been nice to get some armor debuffs. No armor sundering, no armor debuffs. Damn! Alright, I'll get Hawks on Miska then. Guess of Truvite is not gonna work here. And Blizzard. Ooh, Hailstorm. Actually, I'll get Hailstorm. Freezing Winds, Arcane Conduit, Guardian Call, Glacial. Get a Frostworm. Get on a Frostworm. This has to be Phoenix King. This has to be. Let's see. We're fighting Lizard Man. So should I get the Akshina? Let's get the Wolf Heart and some Streltsies just cause. And I think, yeah, we kind of hit the limit there. Actually, I need to turn off unit caps because, yeah, Fruit Rose doesn't actually follow exactly the multiplayer unit caps there. I also need to check what is the maximum of missiles because I'm bringing a shit ton of those guys. Range units are... I think it's limited to 10. Range units 12 per army. Yep, cool. We are just on the edge of that. Wait, shit! I can't bring Armored Corsairs in that case. Alright, cool. Yeah, we do that. We have a shit ton of archers. Actually, we need to take a few less of these. And, maybe we should get some ice cards. No. Let's just get a couple of Streltsies and call it a day. And we got a shit ton of archers. That's fine. We just need something to kill big monsters. Nariska doesn't do much AP, so I want something that can kill things. She also doesn't. We need a dual. Nariska will have to do whatever. She's also really nice in terms of using the silence aura. So, but we'll keep her with that. Yeah, just as like a bodyguard unit. Help her tank damage, and then we just have a shit ton of shooting, shit ton of pew pew. Oh shit! Maybe I should bring a couple cavalry. That's all. That too. Wolf Hearts. Bring some Kozovite dervishes. Cut another. Yeah, cut some of these Kosa so I can get some Streltsies, and then these will be our mass blockers or harassers. I switch with your Hailstorm and Hailstorm Miska or Blizzard. Yeah, let's just do Blizzard. Hailstorm and Blizzard will be our main damage output here. Let's cancel that so we can bring that. Yep, 3 spells, way too much, honestly, but it is what it is. Let's just get the battle started. Oh, wait, hold on. Map, forgot about map. Alright. We ready? Lore of Hacks had that one debuff spell. Oh! I never used Lore of Hacks, actually. Oh shit, I actually have never used Lore of Hacks myself. I should try it out sometimes. There's so much stuff in this game I haven't... I actually realized I haven't tried a lot of things in the game when I was kind of like sticking to factions that I'm usually more comfortable with. I guess I've been missing out. Yeah, I should try out Lore of Hacks in this time.
We fight for
Because like I'm usually more of yeah, I'm usually more of a kind of alright, hold on. I'm usually more of a non-order army player. I like ogres. I like playing with Norska. I like playing with stuff that are not exactly law and order. I don't play a lot of Cathay, for example, and yeah. All right, cool. Yeah, we got the. Ready when you are. Good luck, have fun. To my opponent. Okay, I should play some Lore of Hacks in the next battle and stuff.
Obey the orthodoxy.
Wait, the Lore of Hacks has came out for like 2 years. Shit, how did I not play it? Man, that was... I'm not worthy as a total Warhammer player. What the hell? Alright. Let's get a show on the road. I can't even... This map is big, actually. Like, it's so much space. I mean, I'm on... Okay, this is the white line. Oh. They just kind of cut off... They cut off the vegetation right there. Just so they don't have to manually place any more new vegetation outside of your vision. Alright, we have a lot of Daka. I mean, we're not greenskins, so we can't call it Daka. We have a lot of pew pew. We're just gonna shoot them. I probably... damn it, I probably would have wanted some armored Corsairs. That would have been nice. What are you doing? What are you doing? Okay. Accidents happen.
Sons of Kislev!
Accident happened. Let's just regroup. Reorganize. Misclicks happens. Just need to recover. Seems like the archers are keeping those skink skirmishers at arm's length. We can't really afford rushing because they have way more numbers than we do. Actually, we both... What? Oh. Flock of Doom now. Hitting 3 units, that's not great. We shall... Alright, let's just go and fight them for a bit. Shoot them up. Shoot them up. Alright, we need to tilt our formations a bit there. Alright, yeah, let's just go and deal with those, start pushing. Actually, just bring some of our units back in. We can pull off some of these guys, net them, so we can start moving units over. Yeah, let's just. Oh, actually, no. Don't bother about fighting them. Just shoot. Keep shooting.
Moving. Very well. Take time.
Keep shooting. Do we have Hulk or Miska somewhere? Yeah, okay, cool.
Follow the ride. The blizzard comes.
Okay, Hailstorm. We need it right here. About now.
Sheena ambushes.
Damn, that's a lot of damage. Actually, you know what? You guys can go fight it in melee, whatever.
Mistress of ice.
Okay. Can we get some...
Strength in cold.
Oh, yeah. Nariska is fighting in the vicinity. How the fuck did these Koan died so fast? I didn't even drop a spell on them.
Strike them
Alright,
down.
yeah, these Kosa... These Kislev warriors were just kind of overstretched for a bit there.
Ice switch moving.
Yeah, we kind of messed... Oh, we definitely messed up our own micro there.
Blizzard rises.
With holding the position and all. Because I just got overwhelmed with little to do to kind of try and counteract the enemy infantry. Probably also because I don't have enough melee troops on my end. Which is also on me in terms of building the army. Mostly just spamming missiles, but they are going in with
For the motherland.
with a spam of infantry. It is down to a single entity fight now. I'm trying to kill Krogar, at least in melee. Can I get enough? I can get another hailstorm, but I want to wait for when more units are nearby. That's the thing.
Suffer the frost.
Okay, we got some regroup units, but they're not doing a whole lot.
Horse raiders. Take a position.
Oh, we are getting darted to death.
Find safety.
I lead, you follow. Destroy this wreck.
Okay, can we get them there? Oh no. All right, can we at least kill Krogar? That's a real question here. Oh, that one cold one cavalry dying for Krogar. All right, cool. We are hunting down Krogar. We need.
Mother Winter.
It's a lot of magic. I hope it's worth it. We shall see. I probably should have just went for a hailstorm over here instead.
With honor. Taking point.
Champion of the motherland.
Yeah, I probably should have just went for a hailstorm. Would have been way more cost efficient right now.
Hearts of ice.
Mother Winter's child.
At least he is still frostbitten, but the ice witch is not doing any attacks. Alright, come back and start shooting, I guess. Shoot them.
Mistress of ice.
Come on, you just need to land a hit.
Fight. Ice
Oh, but no, they're just gonna walk around and not actually attack. Great times. Neither of the players remember to capture the point, by the way, which is the fun thing about it. One is frostbitten, things are gonna be rough for Krogar to actually try and run away.
fall of the ice.
And he also can't use any of his abilities because Nariska is silencing him.
Follow the
Alright, I need to
ride.
push out of that.
Seeking cold. Onward.
I need to kill Krogar to have the slight chance of winning.
I am the
Alright,
snow.
Krogar is down, so everything starts terror routing. I have a chance now.
Kislev's noblest daughter.
I just need to deal with all these blow dots, which is a problem. Unfortunately, I played very poorly with some of my with my infantry, so that's a problem there.
I switch moving. March for Katarine! Where the gale blows. I am the Tempest! Champion of the motherland!
Bomb them up.
Kislev's protector! Guided by horses.
Things are routing. I send Nariska to kill the skink priest, maybe.
Kislev!
Oh, damn it! Stop forcing me to spam spells. I don't have a lot of magic left.
So I go. For the motherland! This is ice! They must die!
Things are routing, but capture point is not in my hands. Power Blood has been activated, trying my best to keep everything in the fight, not really having a good time there. Okay, killed that. Nariska is alive.
Witch of the snow!
We can go and kill that.
For Kislev! The
Please just keep running towards your target. Thank you.
Yes!
Oh man, exhausted and poisoned. Slow down to 48 speed. Even the skinks can
Retreat! I go
chase
where needed.
her down. Yeah, that's a win to my opponent there.
Ready to fight.
We don't have enough melee units to protect
Face my wrath.
the missiles, and I just got overwhelmed on all flanks. Everything swarmed in, and yeah.
I'll show them straight.
I don't think I can bring this one back, at least. Wait, hold on.
I lead, you follow.
I want to play this till the end, but I feel like this is just gonna drag out.
The Golden Knight.
Can I at least kill? You know what? I'm just gonna concede in the game here, because my opponent played beautifully, and I fucked up my infantry micro. So yeah, GG to my opponent there. I'm gonna save everyone the pain of watching me trying to play with a single entity versus a horde of skinks. And yeah, that is gonna be a win for the Lizardmen with a mass skink and Saurus. Actually, Saurus is something I was not expecting. Mass skink and Saurus build. I was expecting some form of dinos, even like the cheaper single entities like a Bastillodon, but like Saurus spam? Nobody expects a Saurus spam. Like, I even expected them to spam red crested skinks and skink infantry. But Saurus! Man, I wish I brought the armored Quasars. GG to my opponent there, very well played, and the swarm of Saurus really pressured my infantry line as they were not geared to fight those mid-tier infantry and really struggled in the fight there. And the Streltsies, that was maybe I shouldn't have brought them, and I should have just spent the money on armored Quasars instead. And yeah, very well played to my opponent, very nicely built with that army. I did manage to snipe Krogarb, so I guess that's a win in some sense, but no, actually my opponent Anarian here made a very interesting build with a mass Lizardmen build. You don't see that every day, and securing victory, overwhelming all my defenses. Although, I have no idea how the Cohen Spear Riders died so fast in my backline. They were fighting freaking Quasars, man. Not even the Spears one. And they still died extremely quick to, I don't know, arrows? Arrows? Maybe a few bullets, but the Streltsies themselves didn't do a whole lot of damage. So, they must be dying to something. I'm not sure. I'm just not sure from what. That's the only problem here. Yeah. So yeah, they didn't. One of them did really well though. The ones that survived till the end game. A couple of them died quick. So yeah, that is gonna be GG with the Kislev versus Lizardmen battle. Let's see, how many more? Yeah, it's just us. Yeah, no, not dragging this one out was a wise choice, despite how much I want to try and squeeze a win or something. But yeah. Next up, we are fighting against Ferret, who seems to be a new player to multiplayer. So let's see what happens here. All right. But yeah, for those who joined just now on the stream, if you want to check out the patch notes, feel free to rewind to earlier parts of the stream where I covered it during round 1 when I got it by round of the 20. It's not a lot of changes. Bahrain summarized it pretty well in the Discord channel. It's just, oh, dragons got 1,000 mass, a little bit of turning speed and flying speed, and a bunch of units got cheaper. There's quite a few like updates to monsters units, but like overall balance wise, it doesn't really change the meta much. The real thing that is shaking up the meta in 7.0 is gonna be the new units. Can you go back and review the changes to the Beastmen? Wait, shit, do they even have any balance changes today? Tomorrow, not today. Let me just check. No, they skipped Beastmen. It's not even on the... What? Yeah, the Beastmen changes... Beastmen wasn't even on the document. So no, they don't have any balance changes. We start from the letter... At least in the document, we started from Chaos Undivided. So B for Beastmen and Bretonia were skipped. Yeah. Or maybe I should have try and find... Because Bahrain said there's another... Oh yeah, they have a patch notes earlier. Let me just check. Yeah, they don't have Beastmen. They skipped it. Yeah, no Beastmen changes on the patch notes. Not on the document I got, not on the official patch notes. Alright, I need to go and find Ferret. You're gonna be destroyed on the stream? It depends. I'm not a very good player either, so... plus, I'll be experimenting with a faction I rarely play, so you might be surprised by your own gameplay, you know? Or maybe surprised by how badly I play. Despite being a content creator. Man, I still haven't... I just realized when people mentioned Lore of the Hacks today, I just realized I haven't used Lore of the Hacks in battle much. Like, maybe I used it once or twice when a DLC came out. But... yeah, I honestly have not been using it much. So I'll bring it out. I'll bring it out for once. Okay. Maybe Kisla, maybe I was too harsh on you. You guys do have an armor debuff spell. But we're fighting against Beastmen, so we don't need that. That's the only problem here. Yeah. So, yeah, I'll still bring the Lore of Hacks. I'm just not gonna bring the Curse of Ancient Witch. We'll bring something else. Silence is a really cool idea, actually. Wait, it's good against 25 unit, 5 or more unit. That means I'm not. It's not good for single entities. The fuck. No, I don't want this spell. It's a bit complicated. With yeah. Wait, what? What? Yeah, with the Lore of Hacks, it's just a bit complicated. You have 2 effects per spell. And I need to remember what does what. Because those effects are complete opposites, and it's a bit rough to figure out what is what. 1 does damage, 1 heals, so I'm gonna do that. I'll take Witch Brew. I will take... no, I'm not gonna take Vengeance of Spirits. Might I might take Blessing of the Ancient Witch, actually. So, Witch Brew, Curse of the Ancient Witch, and we need to overcast that. And we don't really need that as Beastmen. They don't have a lot of... Oh, Fatal Interlopers. That might be neat. Oh, I'll take that. But yeah, nobody really uses the Hack Witch anyway, so... Okay, so this matchup might be the one that can justify Colossal spam. I'm not taking the Streltsies, that was a trap. That was a very disappointing trap. I'll take Nariska once more. Oh yeah, and also everyone just takes an Ice Witch to battle. So nobody uses, yeah, nobody brings... Yeah, nobody brings, Hack Witch as a result. I'll take them. Boris Ursus today. Gonna try to fight monsters with him and some bears maybe. Ooh, Shark Blade. Armor of Ursus. Urson, we might just turn that one off. And Bear Block. We have healing. We have the Cauldron spell. We'll turn on stand. We don't need stand your ground. We do want the Oath Brothers of Tor, and we're out of money. Problem with playing with Kislev. We're for a Kislev army. This is way too infantry heavy. Not gonna lie. And we're done. Yeah, we don't have much cavalry ourselves, so yeah. A lot of pew pew once more, and see what happens. Actually, can we afford? We can't even afford another rider. Right, fine. I'll just take these, and then yeah, whatever. We might want the Fate of Interlopers just because our opponent might spam Flock of Dooms, and having that 20% spell resistance might be handy. Might is the keyword here. How handy, as for how handy it might be, I have no idea. I think this will have to be it. Whatever. 400 gold, what can I use it on? Nothing. Really nothing. Problem with playing with Kislev. You just don't have a lot of budget. Kislev, man.
Forward, Kossar! Full tough Kislevites! Sons of Kislev!
Akshina ambusher.
Learn power! The motherland's finest! Warbear!
Alright, just these two units will have to be in one group.
Stand together, proud!
The weird sled of the Hack Witch. And a bunch of archers.
Follow the bear!
Obey the orthodoxy.
Cossards!
Alright, let's see what happens here.
We fight for Urson! Urson's right hand!
Oh, I forgot to change maps. We are still on Peak Pass. Alright, let's wait and see what happens. To be fair, Laura of Hags is bad enough that I don't think I've ever seen a replay with it since this tank was meta. Yeah, I totally forgot to change map. Obviously cheating with the map to stop Sargors from getting long range of sight. To be fair, the Sargors can stand on the hill and get that extra uphill shooting from top of the hill and get extra missile strength. So it might be beneficial from a Cygor. Yeah. But yeah, I totally forgot about the map thing. Also, with the lack of cavalry, I can't scout the enemies.
Stand for Urson. For my motherland.
Going back to the Beastman, it changes his running to from another changelog stream. Ah, shit. I don't watch enough changelog stream to notice, not gonna lie. So, usually I don't really watch changelog streams myself because I prefer just to read it myself, and as a result, I don't do changelog streams myself. I just only do it this time because it coincided, the embargo lifting coincided with Wednesday Faction Wars today. So I thought, okay, cool, maybe I can spare some time to do the changelog today. But yeah. So I totally was not aware of that yet. Alright, can we get a shot from the Hack Witch at Malagor? It's a shit missile though, so I don't expect it to do much. Wait, is that a giant? That is a giant. Okay. That's a lot of yeah, that's a lot of. Wait, my hidden units are revealed? Oh, they're still hidden, so it's probably just them. Oh shit, I forgot about these guys. Well, shit, that was stupid of me. That was a tactical reserve. That was totally not me forgetting about a couple units at the back there. Mm-hmm. You can shoot that, shoot that, shoot that. Everyone just shoot that. Shoot that. Yeah, that's done for. I don't care about that anymore. Okay, turn around, start shooting that, and everyone. Wait, what the fuck is that formation? Alright, everyone turn on guard mode, because your formations are a mess. Hell of a mess, too. Alright, can you come over and start give us some heal? Are we getting heals? Yes, we're getting heals. Alright, here comes the bombardment. Which is pretty damn nice, and it's short blade time. I need all the damage I can get right now. And we just keep shooting. Yeah, the scary part of Kislev is how many archers they can field on the ground. Corsairs are so cost efficient as a cheap archer unit. Like there's so many archer fire, you need something to break them fast. I probably would just spam Minos in this if I'm spam Minos and spam Flock of Dooms. Yeah, Flock of Doom would be a good one, because look at how clumped up my units are. Yeah. You guys go do that, you guys go chase that. I've got enough archers to do the work here, and these guys can start occupying the ground.
Annihilate them!
Who's freedom?
If you can get a charge on that, that would be neat. Alright, everyone just come back over here. Turn around and shoot that.
Position!
March with pride!
You guys can charge that, and yeah. How much damage do you get? 600, not too bad. But yeah, the big thing is about the Oath Brothers of Tor getting a nice nice bombardment there.
Armored Cossars!
Vaccina ambushers! They die!
We kind of recovered. We know what legendary lords got upscaling applied. I think they might have mentioned it in the patch notes somewhere. But I didn't read enough to know. But yeah, definitely wouldn't. Definitely as a rough one for the Beastmen in this matchup with as the Senegals do not appreciate fighting Kislev. Either they got shot or they have to fight heavy cavalry in melee. Throwing axes. I probably should have went for some horse archers now that I think about it. That would have been a cool way to play this. But yeah, the Hagwitch didn't do a whole lot. Healing the Oath Brothers, I guess. That's something. And some of the Kozovite Dervishes. So yeah, the archers is a rough one for a melee rush build like that. Probably need to do a lot more kiting. So Beastman needs their own archers, needs a lot of Flock of Dooms, and what else? Yeah, archers, Flock of Dooms, cheap units, and some minos with shields, probably. Butchers of Kalkengard will be good. Butchers of Kalkengard is always good, except when you're fighting fire spam. That would be a different thing to deal with, but yeah. The Oath Brothers, the bombardment is really good in the sense that it not only does damage, it also has the blinded effect, which is ridiculously good as a debuff. 24 melee attack and defense AoE effect as well. So this bombardment is insanely good. Not only does it do damage, but also it makes the targets a lot more vulnerable to damage as well. So your units are gonna be a lot more effective in melee against whatever they were fighting who got hit by those who got hit by the Call of Tor. But yeah, GG. GG to my opponent Ferret there, and we are moving on to round 3, I think. Unless the round hasn't concluded yet. Not yet, yeah. So we might actually go collect some replays and start casting. We got quite a few today, because, yeah. We got a pretty good turnout this week, so, yeah. As a result, we got quite a few games to watch. I went through two. Alrighty, while we are waiting for the rest of the round to conclude, let's hop into one of the replays. Which one has the smallest size? Oh, okay, there's one. Might be a quick one. Oh, it's another replay from Ferret. Let's have a break from Beastman, actually. Let's do something else, like, oh, there's an, let's see. Druchi versus Shorties. Druchi versus the... Are they emo or are they... You can't call them emo grudgies either. They're not... They're kind of edgy as among the Shorties, but nothing's as emo and edgy as the Dark Elves. Yeah. Anyways. It's the corrupted version of elves and dwarves versus each other. So yeah. It's a grudge match again, but just when, well, corrupted. For the Druchi army, a front line of Dread Spears backed up by 3 Witch Elves. Haven't seen these ladies for a while. Their Witch Brew can be a massive damage boost, 50% weapon strength and 24 more attack, allowing them to shred through the enemy with their bonus versus infantry as well. Dark Riders providing a bit mass and speed, and in the skies, Black Dragon with a double Black Dragon. Wait, where's the Lord? And Malekith on the ground by himself. So I guess the idea is send those Black Dragon forward and spam breath spells onto the Dao Izar formation. Evil Grudges. Yeah, Evil Grudges indeed. That makes sense. Not only is it Grudges, it's also the evil version, the edgy, emo version of Grudges. Anyways, Chaos Dwarf Warriors, a front line of just Chaos Dwarf Warriors, backed up by a ton of missiles, a ton of firepower here from, I believe that should be Borain, because he does love his evil dwarves. Wait, hold on. I'm just checking who played Chaos Dwarf here. Yeah, it is Borain. Yeah. A ton of Hobgoblin Archers and a ton of Chaos Dwarf Blunderbusses with more Blunderbusses at the back and some cheap laborers, Orc version laborers, as a bit of a chaff unit on the sides. Infernal Gods with Fire Glaives for some more elite and more precision firepower, slightly longer range. And a Sorcerer Prophet of Fire leading the army. I'm gonna fast forward a bit here because both armies are just trying to approach each other to beat each other up. We shall see what happens here. Yeah. Oh, by the way, it's only Burning Head and the Vial of Hashut from the Sorcerer Prophet. Alright, they're getting close, almost into firing range. Hobgoblin Archers will be firing first, but here comes the Gaze of Malice onto a very blocked up Hobgoblin Archers. Their formation was just perfect for that Gaze of Malice. And Blunderbusses are firing at Malekith, but his model is too small, so it doesn't actually, there's not many shots that land home. While the Dread Spears will be pushing in Witch Elves as well, screaming murder and charging in. Actually, wait, no, some of them are still hanging. A lot of them are actually going around, trying to go... Yeah, they're trying to circumvent the enemy defenses. Going around where there's only... Well, there's only laborers as defenses. Dark Riders are also squeezing through the gaps on those Orc laborers. And they're getting into the back line with a Blade Wind, deleting some Hobgoblin Archers who are also in a blocky formation. Now the Dark Riders, they are not going to do a whole lot of damage to the Chaos Dwarf Blunderbusses, but the point is to stop them from pushing forth and starting to fire. And with those Blunderbusses distracted, they formed a perfect target for the Black Dragon to drop breath attacks on. The Witch Elves at the back took some damage from missiles and stuff, also Burning Head, repaying a Knight's death toll on, well, actually not a single mortal death, but repaying a lot of HP from those Dread Speeds and some of these Witch Elves as well. The Witch Elves have turned on their Witch Brew before the unit dies, so that they can just get that maximized damage before they goes down. Another Blade Wind. Blade Wind is an 100% armor piercing spell, so it does really good damage to the Blunderbusses, who are now mostly disrupted and shut down, unable to turn around and fire at the Black Dragon. Infernal Gods with Fire Glaives are a lot more expensive, but the damage output is a lot lower than your Blunderbusses because they're not shotguns, they're just more typical handguns. Still accumulating some pretty good damage onto the Black Dragon, while the Blunderbusses are constantly under melee threat. Here comes 2 almost full health. These are full health. These are still very healthy Witch Elves, Sisters of Singing Doom here. They have used up their Witch Brew, but they still have a lot of killing power remaining to go. And don't forget, these are Dark Elves, so they do have the power of Murderer's Prowess, boosting them in a very timely manner as they collide into enemy lines. Hobgoblin Archers are firing in, and the Witch Elves are being burnt by a Burning Head. But unfortunately, it didn't really curve into... yeah, they're just driving forward as the units they're fighting are retreating. So with the Witch Elves pushing up, they actually dodge those Burning Heads pretty nicely. On the far side, Chaos Dwarf Warriors are getting breath spammed by those Black Dragons. Things are not looking too hot for the Chaos Dwarfs as their units are running thin. There's still some Infernal Gods and Hobgoblin Archers remaining, just trying to stand their ground and shoot at whatever they can get their hands on. The problem is those Black Dragons are still roaming and still having some breath attacks left. I think this might have used up... Well, yeah, both still have 1 breath attack left, actually. while the Chaos Dwarves are on a mass exodus, or more like the Hobgoblins and Orc Laborers. Blunderbusses, most of them have been shut down. Actually, all of them have been shut down on the run or just shattered. So yeah, things are not looking good for the Chaos Dwarves for sure. Blade Wind, that does a bunch of friendly fire, but Blade Wind doesn't do... Yeah, it doesn't have too insane of a trajectory, so it went one way, so it didn't really do it. It didn't delete enough of the Jet Spears to rout them off. They are still holding and now pushing back those Hobgoblin Archers. Now Saucer Prophet of Fire is subjected to a Soul Stealer. Seems like it is... The Vow of Hashut is not activated. It's still on cooldown because we saw some other spells earlier, while the Saucer Prophet is extremely low in health with Malekith on his back, just chasing right after him. Some blunderbusses return, but here comes the Witch Elves, screaming murder, rushing towards their targets, while the formation of the Chaos Dwarf crumbles away. And that is a victory of the Dark Elves with their Witch Elf rush. Rather successful, but more... Well, I say Witch Elf rush, but it's more of a Black Dragon and Blade Wind spam victory there. 3,300 gold from Malekith, who is not on a Black Dragon, mostly just getting that value from the Blade Wind spam onto a lot of expensive missile units on the Chaos Dwarf side. So yeah, very nicely done by Scarbrand the Exile. They're not the demon himself, but a player. Scarbrand the Exile there getting a lot of good damage done with those AoE damage. And yeah, the dwarves with their heavy armor are quite vulnerable to these kind of AoE damage spam. They are vulnerable to artillery and armor-piercing magic, especially when the Chaos Dwarves do not have that resistance to magic like their less corrupted cousins. Now, for the Chaos Dwarves here, 1,000 gold on that Sorcerer Prophet for the Burning Heads. The rest of the army not doing too hot there. The front line of Chaos Dwarf warriors entirely circumvented by the Dark Elves, who have a lot more mobility, a lot more agile as an army, with those light Witch Elves and Dark Riders and Black Dragons. Missile-wise, the Hobgoblin Archers didn't do a whole lot. One of them got some good damage. Two of them got some good damage against the Witch Elves, but that's about it. As the Blunderbusses got completely shut down due to their short range and awkward line of fire. It requires them to have a clear line of sight to their opponents to actually get to shoot and hit anything. Which unfortunately didn't really work out in this battle, as the enemy just kind of like squeezed through the gaps of their defenses, striking them from the side and in the rear. While the Inferno one of them got shut down pretty early with the Black Dragon Breath attack. The other survived till the late game and actually got some really good value, as it was just poking at those Black Dragon and whatever units it could get its hands on. Looks like there's still one more battle ongoing, so we are going to maybe cast another battle then. We're gonna do the Beastmen one, because this is, according to the file size, it's supposed to be a fast one. I want to cast the shorter battles right now first, because well, we are on the last battle of round 3, and I don't want my opponent in round 4 to wait too long. Anyways, Hamster Berserker versus Felix here. Felix, or Furret. So Hamster Berserker going with a bunch of Dwarf Warriors in the front line and a lot of Dwarven Berserkers, the Slayers at the back. Slayer Pirates, 2 of them, plus a Goblin Hewer. Slayer Artillery on the field reporting for duty. Iron Drakes, 4 of them, as they don't do a lot of armor-piercing damage, but they do a lot of good damage to unarmored targets, which is what most of the Beastmen roster is. And more importantly, that burnt leadership effect can force enemies to rout earlier, which, well, Beastmen also have a lot of low leadership troops. At the back there are more Dwarven Berserkers, Dragonback Slayers, Regiment of Renown, and Giant Slayers. I don't think you need Giant Slayers against the Beastmen, since they don't really have many armored monsters, except, I guess, Torox the Brassbull is an exception. So bringing this unit in might actually become very beneficial. Ekron's Miners in the center with 3 waves of ammunitions, 3 waves of explosive charges, 1 more than the usual. Oh, just looks like round 4 is gonna start soon. Beastmen going with a bunch of throwing axis tentacles. They are upgraded to silver chevrons. I would say it's not worth it to do so, as you're boosting. You're paying a cost proportional to the unit, and the unit's cost originally includes ammo and missile strength, which are not being buffed by upgrading your Senegors. So you're paying extra, but you're not getting a proportional return. So it's very rare for players to buff units by paying extra cost to upgrade them. And I wouldn't say this is the most cost-efficient use of your funds. So I would generally advise against that. Also, Senegor's throwing axe is not great against dwarves because 1, they can't fight them in melee. 2, fighting them at range means that you're gonna get shot. I guess in this battle it's not too bad. Oh wait, no. The Iron Drakes can still reach them if they just walk ahead for like 10 distance. So yeah, it's very awkward to play with Senegor's throwing axes in this matchup, and I would generally advise against that. Pestigors on the field, barely enough troops on the field to meet the target, 400. Anyways, 2 Pestigors, 2 Minotaurs, and no shields, no great weapons, just a regular dual weapon variant. Tuskor Chariots, 2 of them, Taurus the Brassbull leading the army, Brave Shaman with Lord of Shadows, Melkos, Mystifying, Miasma, and Withering. Against dwarves, you're probably better off using Pit of Shades, because all your units here have armor piercing. Withering does not work well in this kind of synergy here. Like, the reduction of armor does not boost your units damage, because they already do mostly armor piercing damage. And on top of that, leadership reductions are very ineffective against dwarves because they have a lot of leadership to begin with. Leadership debuffs would not actually be enough to force them into a rout. So you kind of expect to fight them to their death anyways. Pestigor is rushing in, but already getting burnt to their death. This is where you want a lot of harpies as well against the dwarves because, well, you need stuff to disrupt those missile units, and harpies are great for just dropping onto those units and temporarily shutting them down. Right now, the Iron Drakes are absolutely burning down everything in their face. Minotaurs, the Pestigors, the burnt effect also coming in really handy, forcing them to an earlier route with under missile fire plus burnt effect. That's minus 13 leadership outside of the damage sustained on those units. Throwing axes are chipping away some of the Iron Drakes, but they're now turned around. Maybe they can get a volley onto those throwing axes Senegors, maybe. Yeah, they do outrange the Iron Drakes, who are also kind of disrupted and shooting at something else right now. But yeah, the Incarnate of Elemental of Beast got absolutely shredded by the Goblin Hero. I totally just neglected that unit. They have very few missiles, very few ammunition, but they do an absolute insane amount of damage in a short time. And yeah, the Elemental of Beast, Incarnate Elemental of Beast is down from the long drawn Slayer Pirates and Slayer Pirate shots as well. And now the Goblin Hero crew can double as like half a unit of Slayers and go into melee fight something. Yeah. Long drawn Slayer Pirates are launching some shots into Razor Gores, and yeah, this is gonna be a dwarf victory with only Taurus the Brassbull still in the fight. Slayer Pirates are turning around to shoot him, and Pestigors and regrouped Pestigors and Minotaurs are holding the capture point, but I don't think this Beastman army can weather the storm against all these Dawi. Even in melee, the Dawi have enough juice to kill everything. Yeah. Long drawn Slayer Pirates. Slayer Pirates don't have a bonus versus large, just have decent melee stats. So yeah, they actually took quite some time to take down those Minos. But yeah, things, yeah, some Sunday was jumping into the back line, but it is fighting, the Beastmen are fighting a war of attrition in this instance, and it's very hard to win in a war of attrition against the dwarves unless you have healing, which Beastmen do not. And yeah, the Goblin Hero did a lot of damage to the Incarnate Elemental of Beast. Same goes for some of these Slayer Pirates here. While the infantry, the Iron Drakes did some really good damage. The rest of the army not quite so, mostly relying on those Goblin Hewers and Slayer Pirates and Iron Drakes to destroy the rather lightly armored Beastmen army. Yeah. Yeah, the Razor Gore chariots could have used some more cycle charging. You want to, after you charge your chariot into a fight, you want to try and issue it a movement order and get it out of the fight and do another charge, because the most damage the chariot does is during its impact, where it plows through multiple unit models, and the impact damage multiplies for each model they manage to knock flying. The collision impact damage is really good on chariots. And the Razor Gore chariot, it needs to be constantly moving, ping-ponging between units. Charging in, pull it out, cycle charge again, and then just going back and forth. Just keep it moving, because if it got stuck in melee, it would just get dragged down and, yes, struggle to earn back its worth. The Minos got burned pretty badly. Same goes for the rest of the army, pretty much. Just got burnt down by the Iron Drakes. Even Torix the Brassbull took a good chunk of damage from the Slave Pirates and whatnot, and went down with army losses. Alright, last battle for... oh no, we're fighting High Elves. God. Right, we're fighting Phoenix King. Yeah. Phoenix King, where you at? You got a lobby code. Iron Drakes outranged the Sandagors, I think. No, Iron Drakes have 70 range, and Sandagors have 80. So, but they're almost the same. It's like they just need to walk forward for like 2 steps. They just need to get a step forward, and they will be in range to shoot at the Sandagors. So. And the Sandagors need to be constantly moving to keep that 10 range advantage, and it's not easy to do so. Yeah, this is why multiplayer is so intimidating. Yeah, that's true. We have like 25 factions or something, and you need to know each of them. But in general, I would advise to just use like one cookie cutter, Swiss knife build that can deal with various scenarios, and you just adjust specific units to make that build decent into that matchup. But yeah, it takes a while to familiarize yourself with all the different factions, which is not something very different from your usual RTS game like Warcraft or Starcraft, which you only have 3-4 factions to think about. I guess it's, in that sense, it's closer to Age of Empires, where you have more factions. But yeah. Anyways, let me just quickly check if Phoenix King has a lobby code. Iron Drakes have 80? Oh shit. Oh shit, that was on me. I mistakenly remembered. Okay, Iron Drakes have 80 range. Sandagors throwing axes have 70. Okay, that was on me. That was my bad. Alright, yeah, let me check. Yep, that was on me. So Iron Drakes actually outrange throwing axes Sandagors. Damn, they suck. They suck into, like, the throwing axe is such a short range, they just get touched by anything. Matchup knowledge is mostly important to avoid getting hit by some heavy cheese. True. But you sometimes do want to just keep your mind, bear in mind what kind of unit you'll be facing, because you still need to gear your army to face specific units. Yeah. Oh wait, no. Join. Alright, join battle. Like, for example, if you're fighting against dwarves, you want. Well, let me think. Fighting against Cathay, yeah, you'd want to prepare for Cathay box. Fighting against Wood Elves, you want to prepare for a kite. Wood Elves is not a good example. But yeah, I think it's just, the more you play, the better you are at the game. Like sometimes you can use one build in a faction to deal with like 10, 20 matchups. For example, for me, for Ogre Kingdoms, I usually have like one type of build, and then I just use the same build to face off various factions. Basically just a Slaughtermaster, with Great Maul, and then multiple Lead Belchers and a few Man Eaters, Great Weapons, and then a bunch of chaff. And I just used this one formation to deal with like, yeah, to deal with like 20 to deal with most of the matchups, except specific ones where I have to use specific builds. So like this game, a lot of armies are flexible enough to do that. And for example, Rider of Rohan does a lot of high elf armies that, yeah, I think that was, what was it, Rider of Rohan or shit. I remember, shit, it's been a while since I see that player, but yeah, I think it's Rider of Rohan. Was it? But yeah, there was like one player who had like a ton of, actually, let me just go back to the Kislev armies first. But yeah, there are players who just use one build. It was Blake. Ah, shit, my memory. Also, I haven't seen Blake in a while. Yeah, it was Blake. You're right. It was Blake. Blake just used one Imric build from High Elves and just played that with every matchup. So it is definitely possible to just familiarize yourself with one build to play the different matchups to get the experience, to get like an understanding with how each matchup works. And from there, after you get those knowledge, you'll have a lot more freedom with different factions to play and whatnot. But honestly, most players only main a few factions. And it's very rare you'll see people who love to switch around factions all the time. I myself have specific factions I lean towards, and then as a result, I don't play a lot of other factions. So yeah. Oh, let me just not play a full mobility army, because that's just ooh, wow, well. This might be a good time to bring Lore of the Witch, Lore of the Hack. Yeah, this might be a good time for a Lore of the Hack, because the armor debuff might actually be useful here. Alright, Witch Brew, which is like 60 armor debuff, and then... Oh wait, Curse of Ancient Witch, and then Witch Brew for healing and damage. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, let's do that, and then we bring Boris Ursus again. Toothgrass Heal, yep. Colossal Strike, and... Yeah, that. Do I want Heroic Resilience? No, don't bother. Oath Brothers of Tor once again. And then just a line of... Oof, no money. Man, Kislev is expensive. Okay, I'll just bring the guy. Kislev is expensive, man. Right, there we go. A line of Armored Kusals. That's enough models. And then what else? Not much I can do here. Ice guards are also too expensive, so I don't want to bring them. Alright, I'll just bring a cavalry spam. Let's go. Probably gonna be shit, but whatever. But yeah. Like, sometimes it's very possible you have one flexible build that has the key units that can bring you to victory, and you adjust your build, moving out, replacing certain units in certain matchups with like good tools, and then you'll still be able to have a good time with that matchup. Not guaranteeing a win, of course, but you'll still be able to perform okay with your flexible build. But yeah, there are many ways to play this game, so you don't have to stick specifically to one of them. So yeah. There's that. Now we wait. While my PC fights the loading screen, viewers should like and subscribe. Thank you for the push. I do appreciate the like and subscribe for sure. Yeah, like I don't really push my channel in general, but I do it like every like and subscribe would be nice to grow the channel and see more people watching my content. Yeah. I know I should be pushing my channel a bit more, but yeah, I just kind of like over this year I've kind of slowed down a bit on content making. As you can see, I mostly did streams and haven't made a new video since March. So yeah, I was definitely slacking off a bit this year, but well, with the new DLC, I'm a bit more motivated to make content recently, and we'll have a few more battles in Tides of Torment. Yeah. So yeah, definitely hit the like button and subscribe and help out with the algorithm. That would be really appreciated. And of course, if you aren't subscribed already, definitely do so you can check out my new videos upcoming for the Tides of Torment DLC. Now it's probably gonna be out when the DLC after the DLC is out. But yeah, still would appreciate any of you guys checking it out. Anyways, I think I'm ready. Phoenix King, I hope you're not looking at the stream. I think there's a few seconds of delay anyway, so you're probably not getting the most updated information. But still, I would appreciate. I would appreciate it. But yeah, I can't be bothered to do army blockers myself if I'm just playing the game myself. Like for other players, for fairness, then I will definitely load up the screen blocker. But for this for my own games, I don't care. All right, looks like my opponent is ready, and we are gonna start pushing. But yeah, it's weird with Phoenix King's setup, cause like his games always takes a long time to load, but I never had any like connection issues after we load in. So like I don't even know what to say about that, honestly. Dragon Princess, multiple of them. We have our own heavy cavalry, which it's just a clash of heavy cavalry, but neither of the heavy cavalry have a lot of armor piercing, which is where the hack witch comes in, because I need that. Ooh, it spreads. Ooh, I hope I can get a blob engagement. If not, then whatever. Ooh, okay. I might need to send one of the. Ow, 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 ow. Ow. That hurts a lot. Alright, go ahead and charge that. Oh, that hurts a lot. Alright, we probably need to push. There's too many Dragon Princes though, I can't just...
I go! Moving! Making it so!
Our duty, sir.
Thing Lancers!
Great one, Legion.
Nature's fury! For Kislev!
Alright, get the units in.
The lost star!
And... can we get a heal somewhere? No, we can't.
Taking point!
Alright, we are getting some nice armor debuffs there. So the Griffin Legion are getting some work done. The problem is we are not getting them done fast enough.
Armored Cossars! They die! Moving!
It serves Kislev. Kislev
Alright, let's just get them start charging.
This lives sets
Yeah, the Dragon Princes are holding the line very well. And my cavalry are being tied down in battles that they'd rather not be in.
attack, comrades!
And I'm also not using Lore of Hags properly as either, so that was a bit of an embarrassing display.
On the march!
Alright, get those units in and get a charge in, and
Boris goes on. The bear
oh shit, wrong charge.
I am needed.
We are getting some damage done with those we got charioted. Usually it's the Kislevite charioting people, but yeah, we got charioted ourselves. Yay, oh shit, I didn't remove these Fury of Ursus. Why did I not do that?
Servant of the bear. Boris
That was a mistake.
moving.
By the mother's power!
Obey the orthodoxy.
Alright, yeah, that was an embarrassing display. My opponent played a lot better than me. Damn it! 20-year-old hard drive, that makes sense. That makes sense, actually. Are you using an HDD? Yeah, that makes sense. At least they're not expensive as RAM these days. So there's that. Oh, and maybe I probably should have used the hack witch as like a chariot instead of artillery, because the missiles do jack shit. Really do jack.
Boris goes.
Yeah, look at the impact damage. It did something. Yeah, I probably should have worse let myself up. Ah, missed opportunities. This is what happens when you just randomly pick a faction you don't usually play, and you suck at using it. Let's see how much damage does this spell do. Not a whole lot.
The winds rise against
It's just
For the
Boris now.
motherland.
Fight, Boris, fight! But yeah, everything just got wrecked pretty badly.
tough Gislovites! Find safety!
Very nicely done by Phoenix King there. I'm just gonna... Wait, do I...
Boris Ursus.
Can I use a short blade one last time? Nah, I'm just not gonna bother. He's gonna die. Very nicely done. I'm gonna concede defeat here. Yeah, so charging in with those lion chariots, forcing me to respawn with some of the cavalry, and then but most importantly, having that longer range archery fire to shoot at my Griffin Legion, while the Dragon Princes hang back and wait for my cavalry to come at them. I don't have the initiative on this battlefield this time because of those Sisters of Avalon having the ability to reach my units first and pressure me at range. Whenever I try to react, they would just shoot at my stuff, and yeah, how should I play this better? Maybe I should have just went for regular... No, they're gonna get shot by Lofen Seaguard. Maybe I should get regular Quasars and just trade shots with the High Elves? No, maybe a couple Armored Quasars, a bunch of Archer Fire, and then... Oh, I need Archer spams again instead of Cavalry spam, huh? I also do not have enough debuffs. Like, if I can get one debuff onto the Dragon Princes, they do get hit hard by that armor debuff and get damaged by the charge. But then the spears come in and follow up. And, God damn it, Shiggy Diggy. Not the puns! These puns are getting unbearable. Anyways, yeah, the Dragon Princes... One of them did really well. The other two got hit by the armor debuff, so they did a bit worse. The problem is I can't really control the armor debuff. It's 60 armor debuff and it's really nice, yes, but at the same time, I can't Like, it really depends on whether my opponent blob up the cavalry to let those armor debuffs spread. That was really nicely done by Phoenix King, indeed. Also, I suck at playing Kislev and cavalry in general. It's a compound of both. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, the hack witches. I don't know, man. I probably there's a reason why nobody uses her. Like, if anything, an ice witch with hailstorm probably would have been a lot better here. Just because hailstorm is a lot better as a damaging spell, and it also does decent damage to cavalry blobs. So you rather than trying to debuff the cavalry to let your units damage them, just kill them directly with your spells. That probably would have been a better bet in this matchup. Like, one of the Griffin Legion did some pretty good work. They managed to catch some of the Dragon Princes, got hit by the Cursed Cauldron. Wait, no. Curse of the Ancient Witch. I think that was the spell. But the rest of the army, some of them got shot by Sisters of Avalon and got dragged down by spears. Hag Witch is just too expensive. Yeah, the missile doesn't do a whole lot. The missiles really suck on this unit. So yeah, I wouldn't expect them to do well in anything, honestly. They suck. They suck. But yeah, that's basically the end of our run in this tournament. And we'll be moving on into replay casting. Oh, actually, that concludes the tournament with one player getting victory, dominating the tournament. I'm gonna quickly check some stuff and then make an announcement in the Discord, and then we can start looking at the replays as this tournament has concluded. Wait, that's round 3. I delete. Okay, cool. Let me just quickly grab those replays and just do some organizing. Yep, excuse me for a second while I quickly make an announcement on Discord, and then we can go into the replay section. Alright, okay, we've got the replays. Now we just need to organize them in the file, in the folder. And yeah, we have a lot of replays to go through today. Let's start with the classic grudge match. We have a couple grudge matches in round 1. High Elves and Dark Elves and also Dwarves versus Chaos Dwarves. It's like RNG decided, you know what, we want some grudge matches today, so I'm gonna pit these ancient enemies. Well, ancient cousin enemies, frenemies. No, it's not frenemies, it's always enemies. Family turned enemies against each other. Yeah. So in this round 1 battle, we have High Elves versus Dark Elves. That's Eltharion the Grim versus Malekith once more. For the High Elves, the front line of Spears, second line of War Lines of Strays, and a line of Lothern Seaguard with multiple Reavers at the back as well. Leading army Eltharion coming with Tempest and Apotheosis with the Fang Sword of Eltharion for physical resistance and damage boost, and also Mistwalker's Barrage to bombard their enemy formations. For the Dark Elves here, a bunch of Dark Riders with repeater crossbows, so just one unit actually. One unit of Dark Riders repeater crossbows with armor-piercing firepower. Multiple light cavalry, Dark Riders of shields, and Doomfire warlocks. Interesting choice against the High Elves, who might... Oh wait, yeah, that makes sense actually. Because High Elves would not be fielding Dragon Princes against the Druchii because of the armor-piercing Cult 1 Knights. But this time it seems like they instead brought Cohen Dread Knights and the Knights of the Ebon Claw Regiment of Renowned version of the Cohen Dread Knights. Who does have Murderous Mastery instead of the Murderous Prowess, adding even more damage boost in their attacks. Also causes terror and having better melee stats and whatnot. Oh, they're in the forest. That makes sense. We see the terrain modifications on their melee stats, but once they're out of forest, they're back into their normal melee stats now. A front line of Bleak Swords and Malekith leading the army with Blade Wind once again to, I guess, bully the enemy archers and Soul Stealer. That's it for army builds. Let's get the battle started. Oh, there's also the Hell Labroni. Not much to say about them, being poison spears, I guess. Fast forward a bit, so we get to see the enemies approaching each other. You can see Scarbrand here, who is playing as the Dark Elves, very patiently circling around the Dark Riders and just waiting for the troops to slowly get in range instead of, like me, pushing the cavalry in but not actually positioning them in a flanking position and just eating a bunch of Sisters of Avalon shots and whatnot and getting fended off by enemy cavalry. But yeah, anyways, the Bleak Swords are gonna suffer a charge from various War Lions who are charging into them unbraced with bonus versus infantry and charge bonus, smacking those Bleak Swords up pretty bad. But the problem is the back line here, the Reavers might be in a bit of trouble. Blade Wind is reaping through their lines, not doing as much damage as against infantry, but still leaving mark on their HP bar with more Doomfire Warlocks just plowing through them. Although, yeah, these Larry Reavers could want to issue their charge order here. But yep, nope, too late now, never mind. Oh, is this a Doom Bolt on this one specific? Kills one. This is funny. Kills one Illyrian Reaver, specifically that one, and then 3 more Doomfire Warlocks died from. Dark Riders with shields died with the cast. So unfortunate cast for the Druchii there, but Knights of the Ebon Claw are in, and they have plowed through those Lothern Seaguard with a Soul Blight bound version from the Doomfire Warlocks, I assume, reducing enemy attack damage and also their armor. Not that there's much non-armor piercing attack damage here. But yeah, still, damage is damage, and also reducing enemy damage output is always nice. While the Dread Knights are using their superior melee stats to beat up whatever in the vicinity. They don't have anti-large like Quan Knights, but they do have the superior melee stats to make up for a prolonged melee grind. The Mistwalker Barrage did pick off some of the Knights of Ebon Claw, but the terror from the Knights of Ebon Claw, pushing back all these War Lions, Reavers, and Lothern Seaguard due to them dropping in terms of leadership. Bleak Swords are now holding the front line against the Spears, just making sure that the High Elf Spears are not able to return and help out in the backline fight. As the Cohen Dread Knights and ooh, that's a lot of damage from the Blade Wind once again. As a lot of those Dark Elf mobility are just disrupting the archers, preventing the Lothern Seaguard from firing, while the duel between Eltharion the Grim is slowly edging in the favor of Malekith due to the Soul Stealer healing himself, while the Dark Riders repeater crossbows are nearby. focusing fire onto Eltharion the Grim here. And yeah, the spears, they are not great at killing off enemy units, so they're just kind of struggling to finish off the bleak swords and are tied down in the frontline fight. While Eltharion is desperately needed in all kinds of backline engagements as the Dread Knights, as the Coin Cavalry, as the Doomfire Warlocks are cleaning up those Illyrian Reavers and the Lothern Seaguard. Most importantly, it's the Blade Wind from Malekith there, doing some insane damage, killing off a bunch of Lothern Seaguard, and there's no more backline shooting for the High Elves anymore. And because of the lack of Lothern Seaguard, there's nothing to fend off the Dark Riders repeater crossbows, who are now able to approach Eltharion and start whittling him down from afar. While the spears are still busy in the front line, just wet noodling, these guys have been fighting, these two units have been fighting since the start of battle, and they're still there. It's been 4 minutes. They've been fighting for 2 to 3 of those 4 minutes. God damn. Those spears, high melee defense, low melee attack units, just wet noodling each other. But yeah, looks like the Dread Knights and Doomfire Warlocks are running low in health. But same goes for the High Elf mobility and Eltharion himself. He needs more apotheosis on himself. Does he have any of those? Ooh, that is gonna be close. If he can, that is gonna be tight, not close, as the balance of power is in favor of the Dark Elves already. That is going to be tight here as Eltharion is running low in health and he's still not getting any heal, no apotheosis so far. He needs that heal. Apotheosis finally, it's in, but it's too late now. He's down to less than 1,000 HP and he's still holding on, barely, but holding on. The Fang Sword of Eltharion really keeping him in the fight, using that extra physical resistance to mitigate incoming damage from Malekith. Duking it out now, but Soul Stealer. Oh, that might just be the killing blow here. As Apotheosis is still on cooldown, draining down Eltharion, shatter him, and with Malekith or the Dread Knights landing a killing blow, that is going to be army losses and will be a win for the Dark Elves. Staunch line of no damage output. Yeah. Indeed. Wait, was that a Silver Helm? Oh, I thought that was 3 Illyrian Reavers. There was 1 Silver Helm in there. But yeah, fuck that specific Silver Helm with no... I'd rather kill 3 more Dark Riders just to exchange that 1 Silver Helm. That might have been a Silver Helm, yeah. I thought all 3 are Illyrian Reavers. My bad, I should have checked all of them. But yeah, the Silver Helms did well. The heavy armor does help a lot against the Doomfire Warlocks, mitigating that non-armor piercing damage. But then the Dread Knights just beat the hell out of them. And the Lothern Seaguard suffered a lot at the hands of Blade Wind specifically. And Malekith soloing 1/4 of the entire army himself. Getting some solid work done. While Eltharion, he tried to carry it, just not enough there. Too much damage from Malekith himself of that armor-piercing anti-large. I don't think he has anti-large, actually. But yeah, too much armor-piercing hits and too much Soul Stealer damage. Too much Blade Wind on his archer line. And more importantly, these Dark Riders, repeater crossbows, did some really solid work against Eltharion, as they just sit back and keep shooting while the Lothern Seaguard were too busy dying from the Blade Wind to actually counter-shoot. Tough one for the High Elves indeed, due to their lack of AP, while the Dark Elves have a lot of AP. Everything and their mother has AP on their roster, except the infantry, which only 2 units have AP. But yeah. The Doomfire Warlocks did well, Dread Knights did okay, and Dark Riders and Malekith carried the game. The Warlions unfortunately just lost in straight up fights against Spears and Dread Knights. They don't have a lot of survivability, honestly. How easy is it to defeat? Nope, I can't see anything. There's a character limit on the file name, I guess. But yeah, next up we have ooh, actually I ran out of water, so I'm just gonna quickly grab some hydration and snacks, and then I'll be back. Text. Give me a couple minutes. Alright, I'm back. Let's continue with the replays. Next up, we have Tomb Kings versus Greenskins. And it's gonna be a bone versus mushrooms. Let's see what happens here. Manoft. I don't think I've seen this name before. Yeah. Seems to be a new player in the... Not a new player in the tourney itself. Let's see what they're bringing to the battlefield. We do have a limit of 2 per unit. I think we have a max 1 Hex Rave, max 2 Crypt Ghoul unit when playing as Arcane the Black with Tomb King. So we do allow some of the campaign limit units on the battlefield in this tourney. And they did bring it to the max, because why the hell not? Because they are very good for their cost here. The Hex Raves not only have physical resistance, but also ward save and better melee stats than your regular Hex Raves. It's unfair to the poor vampire counts. They also have spell resistance, so you can't drain them down with spells as efficiently. It's ridiculous. And they have access to Realm of Souls passive heal. This is... It's just a lot, man. It's just a lot. for this Hex Rave unit. Imagine vampire counts have this kind of Hex Raves. That would have been amazing. But yeah, other than that, a bunch of light mobility, Skeleton Horsemen, Vanguard deployed, Crypt... Oh, these are not Vanguard deployed. Oh yeah, wait, they might be Vanguard deployed. Vanguard deployed Crypt Ghouls and some Chosen of the Gods, the front line of Skeleton Chaff Spears, mostly. And then one not Chaff Skeleton, the Kepra Guard, with more Necra Horsemen, which is like a medium cavalry with 50 armor. Backed up by Necropolis Knights with Halberds. Leading the army is Arcane the Black with Spirit Leech and Purple Son of Zerus. Of course, he has the Tomb Blade for skeleton summons and Staff of Nagash for power recharge and Liber Mortis for physical resistance. On the other side, for the Greenskins, for the a front line of Goblin Spears backed up by Orc Boy Biggins, a River Troll unit, some Orc Boys as the front line. Just a lot of Orc Boy Biggins all over the field, as they have really nice armor-piercing anti-large attacks, great for killing constructs. The problem is they don't have a lot of leadership, so they might actually rout before finishing the job. Squig Herds to deal with enemy infantry and Goblin Spears, and a Goblin Great Shaman riding a Spider with Vindictive Glare and Itchy Nuisance. Sneaky Stabbing to help the Boar Boy Biggins to do more damage, actually. River Trolls might be an interesting one to reduce enemy leadership and reduce enemy attack, actually. The Overwhelming Odor. Yeah. The smell of a tabletop Warhammer shop. Nasty Skulkers who are gonna just sneak to the back line in case there are any missile units. Shit, I forgot the water break text. Thank you for your reminder, Shiggy. I always forget about that one because I don't usually use it, but when I do, I always forget. Yeah. Nasty Skulkers sneaking up on the enemy backline there, and yeah, that's it for the army builds on both sides. Let's get the battle started. Purple Son of Zerus might not be a very effective spell in this one because there's only mostly... Oh wait, no. The infantry are pretty cheap, not too expensive for the Purple Sun, but if you can use it on a blob of Orc Boar Boy Biggins, that would be neat. We shall see what happens here. But there are not a lot of constructs, so it is going to be a cavalry engagement and see who can come out on top with that cavalry fight. Problem for the Greenskins is they do not have any magic damage outside of a Vindictive Glare, so they might struggle killing these Hex Raves. Especially the spell resistance might... Oh, sorry, I saw Shigedigi's chat message first before yours, Phoenix King. Apologies for that. Thank you for reminding me as well. I appreciate it. Hex Raves charging straight into the Goblins, and the Goblins are going to suffer hard for it, and they might actually just tear out, maybe? Nah, the Hex Raves are switching targets now. With all their ward save, physical resistance, they can tank. On the other side, though, the Goblin Great Shaman is getting hit by the Spirit Leech and a lot of damage from the Chosen of the Gods. Chosen of the Gods essentially is a shotgun Ushabti unit. They might be anti-infantry on paper, but because the shots burst into multi-shots, against a large model unit, multiple shots can land on the same target and do multiplying the damage for each arrow they fire. So yeah, a lot of damage, just nuking down that Goblin Great Shaman, forcing him to hide back into the forest there, while the Orc Barbarians was a bit slow, being caught by the Necropolis Knights on the charge and are taking quite a bit of damage on impact, and then follow up with the Necro Horsemen as well. The Orc Barbarians will most likely lose this fight, even with the Nasty Skulkers trying to help. Frontline wise, the Gobbles will lose against Skellies, but the Orc Boys should be able to win if there is no other units coming in for support. But you can see the Orc Barbarians is having a really hard time as they got caught by surprise by those Necropolis Knights and dying in droves. Necro Horsemen running down those Nazi Skulkers, and these Nazi Skulkers are still trying to march towards the front line, unable to reach their actual targets. Well, over here though, the Orc Barbarians are getting a really good fight against just skeleton horses, and even manage to drag down some of these Hex Raves as well, as they do have that overwhelming numbers advantage. The problem is this side of things are not going too well for the Greenskins. Spirit Leeches onto the Goblin Great Shaman, draining him down to half health and less. And the good news is that the Chosen of the Gods are a bit busy right now, trying to figure out where to shoot. Definitely better to just shoot at the Goblin Great Shaman, man. Just force him away. But yeah, they are not on the Goblin Great Shaman right now, so the Goblin Great Shaman can actually come out and start chewing up some of these Necropolis Knights, while the Nasty Skulkers are trying to approach the enemy Chosen of the Gods, maybe. That's definitely a good unit for them to fight with their armor-piercing attacks, but right now their Wa is being kind of wasted. At least they're clearing out some of the Skellies, I guess, but the Kepler Guard is going to be a tough one to deal with. And oh no, the River Trolls are being forgotten at the back. Tactical Reserve. Oh, Curio, no! What are you talking about? No, please don't bring weird tags into yeah, please don't bring weird fanfic tags into this discussion. Thank you. But yeah, Goblin Great Shaman chewing up Arcan the Black though. Arcan the Black might be a decent combatant, but fighting against an anti-lock armor-piercing unit with a lot of weapon strength, yeah, he is struggling a bit. He is way above his pay grade. Tactical reserves are still indeed there. River Trolls are not touched at all. Orc Boys have win against Skellies, but the problem is the Kepler Guard there. They fight and they regenerate. Nice stuff happening over here though. Necropolis Knights are completely stuck in this fight against Gobble Spears. Not really a major factor, but the Orc Barbarians and Nasty Skulkers using that smoke bomb to pin them down in this fight, dragging them down with overwhelming numbers. Spirit Leech and, more importantly, Chosen of the Gods have turned their attention towards the Goblin Great Shaman, and he is falling, and he's falling fast. Maybe Arcan the Black can even try to finish him with an overcast Spirit Leech, even if he runs out of range, of course. But yeah, the Kepler Guard is going to be a tough one, as the Nasty Skulkers are not gonna win against Kepler Guard, let's face it. The Kepler Guard can solo a good chunk of the remaining infantry, while the River Trolls finally being remembered, but it might be too late here, as the Goblin Great Shaman is being chased down by the crumbling halberd Necropolis Knights, and even shattered. It might even be worth it to just keep those Necropolis Knights in and just kill off the Goblin Great Shaman and get that Lord Dead leadership debuff. Totally did not pay attention to the fight over on this flank there, but looks like it is still quite even. At least, yeah, the Squig Herds and Orc Barbarians were able to. Oh no, they routed earlier and they got retreated over to the white line, and the Broken Tusk Mob are also routed as well. Wait, what happened there? Might have to rewatch that part, because they died. Tactical. No. What kind of Slanesh or Tiantian bullshit are you guys talking about? Oh no. Anyways, River Trolls are trying to flood in, but the Crypt Ghouls are in to pin them down. Oh no, this might. Ooh, the Crypt Ghouls. The Crypt Ghouls are also very good. They have physical resistance, which, well, regular Crypt Ghouls do not have, and yeah, they're way better than your regular Crypt Ghouls. And the Hex Raves are still surviving, while the Greenskins are really running low on leadership and everything outside of the River Trolls, I guess. But the River Trolls are no match for that many undead. Especially when there's terror in the equation. Hex Wraiths aren't going to terrify them and quickly cut them down with the Kepler Guard in tow as well. They got poisoned, so they got slowed down to infantry speed, roughly. Still faster than the Kepler Guard, I guess, but yeah. Hex Wraith should be able to chase them down, while Arcana Black, he might be low in HP, but he's still surviving. And yeah, things are not looking great for the Greenskins for sure. They are losing a lot of balance of power by losing that River Troll. And Orc Boar Begins being hammered from afar by that Ushapti Great Bowl Chosen of the Gods. And, well, there goes the River Trolls. Went into melee and immediately routed and shattered. Yeah, late game trolls are never reliable. While the Orc Boar Begins suffered a lot, I guess they got cut down by the Hex Wraiths, probably. Most likely. 3 chevrons, man. That's a lot of damage value. Maybe I should just ban Hex Wraiths and Crypt Ghouls. They're so strong. But yeah, the Kepler Guard soloing a good 300... soloing 3 whole units of Greenskins by themselves, probably 4 or 5. Because they'll break before they die to the last Greenskin. And then the Crypt Ghouls themselves are also doing a lot of damage, killing a lot of Gobbles, I think, and Orcs. Well, the Skelly is not doing a whole lot, but mostly carrying the day are the elites among the undead. Chosen of the Gods doing substantial damage to the Goblin Great Shaman, the Necropolis Knight killing a bunch of the cavalry, Hex Wraiths, of course, physical resistance and armor piercing, cutting through those Orc Boar Begins. And we might actually jump back into the replay again just to check out what was happening to those poor Orc Boar Begins there who were 2v1ing at some Skellies and then 2v1 on those Hex Wraiths. Yeah. The Orc Boar Begins really struggled here. Definitely probably should have brought an Orc Shaman instead. Just for the Fist of Gork. That might be handy. That might come in handy. But yeah, Goblin Grey Shaman did some good damage in the fight. Almost killed Arkan, but didn't really quite deal the finishing blow there. While the Nasty Skulkers were just struggling to find a good engagement. Like, they had to fight, like, their optimal target of fighting Necropolis Knights and the Chosen of the Gods in melee, but they were too slow to catch up, and also lagging a bit in terms of micro there. Wasn't quite able to catch their target out of position. What in the Slanesh? Yeah, anyways, let's just quickly check what happened to those Orc Boar Begins there, and then we can move on to the next replay. Because I really want to know what happened to those Orc Boar Begins myself. Yeah. Fast forward. Okay, the Hex Wraiths are ping-ponging all over the place. Taking some damage attrition as they were stuck in the middle of enemy units. And then, oh no, they didn't get the charge attack on the Hex Wraiths. The Hex Wraiths took damage. Oh, but they were fighting a lot of... Oh, I see what happened now. The Goblins crumbled and then the thing starts pushing in and oh, the Broken Task mob were stuck on their own friendly models. A lot of the models aren't in contact with the enemy and were not able to deliver the damage. And then Hex Wraiths come in and slaughtering them in melee. Oh. And then they didn't get slaughtered. They were doing damage in return, but then the spears come in, start surrounding them, and their leadership drops. And as I mentioned before, they don't have the most solid leadership against the terror of the Hex Wraiths. And then being hammered by artillery. Is this missile or artillery? Under missile fire. Missile. Oh, damage by artillery. That's a -10 leadership. So that with a bunch of leadership debuffs and then a terror from the Hex Wraiths, they just got routed. While still having a good chunk of health left. Leading to a very early break of that unit. Unable to maximize its potential. Alright. Grudge match number 2. Chaos Dwarf versus Dowie here. One's going... Dreadquake Mortar. What am I looking at? Holy crap. Alright, let's see what happens in this one. Alright, let's slow down a bit and check out the army builds here. For the Dawiza, and then we have the Dawi on the other side. For the Dawiza, front line of Chaos Dwarf warriors and orc laborers scattered across the battlefield, scattered across the front line there with more orc laborers. Infernal gods with fire glaives and a bunch of blundered buses, and yeah, that's right, Drakequake mortar with no demon engine hauling it. It's just there with a slave ogre. Gonna be mounting the Drakequake mortar with explosives. But yeah. Yeah. Inferno Castellan providing support to Drazwav the Ashen, who is coming in with Flames of Asgore and only Flames of Asgore for the AoE armor piercing damage. That's gonna be a very damaging spell. And the melee attack buff. Dark Renown to contend for to units with content, so like these Chaos Dwarf warriors, to try and help them break through enemy frontline faster. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to the Drakequake mortar shooting in battle. The Dawi themselves, the non-Za Dawi, the non-corrupted Dawi, do not have any. They do not have any good artillery to counter the Drakequake mortar. And usually, they will get Drakequake mortar would just get shot up by the cannons. But the problem is the cannons don't have a good line of sight due to the middle of the whole map. You can see a big chunk of terrain blocking their line of sight, so they don't actually have the arc of fire to hit their targets. This is going to be a bit of a problem there, as they do not have any effective ways to counteract that Drakequake mortar. So other than that, a front line of Dwarf warriors backed up by Thunders with Grudge Rakers bringing in their own shotguns to deal with those Chaos Dwarf shotguns, as well as the Grim Dwellers. Other than that, yeah, cannons, flame cannons, and Gob Lobber. Maybe the Gob Lobber can counterfire at the Drakequake mortar. Maybe, that's a maybe. It's still gonna be rough because they are outranged heavily by the Drakequake mortar. Well, actually no. Oh wait, no. Yeah, they're not outrange actually, just only 10 more range, so not a whole lot. But the problem is they need to reach the Drakequake mortar, while the Drakequake mortar only needs to reach the infantry. Other than that, though, there's also the Ekran's miners and some Dwarf warriors, great weapons at the back there, trying to outshoot the enemy here. But with the Drakequake mortar on the field, this might be a rough one, as it lands right in the middle of the Dwarf warriors, doing really nice damage. Half a unit gone, because it doesn't only just do an explosive damage. It has a tremor effect after the Drakequake mortar lands, which does continuous damage to nearby units. It's like a vortex. It probably can't. The Goblobbers. And the Drakequake mortar continues to land. Even if it misses, the Drakequake might still damage some of the units nearby. At least it mostly missed on this one, as the Dawi player here seems to be quite on top of the dodging game after getting hit by the first shot. We're gonna do some fast forward here as we are waiting. Oh, and also leading the... oh no, the Thunders didn't dodge and they got hit right in the face by the Drakequake, and the whole unit was just deleted in there. Malaka Makaisen leading the army, I totally forgot about that. I guess he just wants to get some extra ammo with this guy, maybe? Nope, there's no extra ammo. He's just there to provide missile support. That doesn't matter anymore, I don't think. Oh no, it was a blocky formation of Ekran miners, and that just knocked out 3/4 of HP. The rest of the 25% will be finished off by the Drakequake. On top of that, Flames of Asgore. Can the Thunder's Grudge Rakers run away fast enough? Nope, they didn't walk at all, and just standing dying in the middle of that magma explosion. Oh man, before they even get into melee range, like half the missiles are already dead. Like a good chunk of the missiles are already dead. That is a painful. 2 Grudge Rakers gone, from Ekran's miners gone, and the Drakequake mortar is still just sitting there and shooting. Like, just shoot at the Grim Dwellers, man. You don't even need to shoot at flame cannons anymore. Just kill all their missiles and then, I don't know. Man, this is just rough. This is just rough. These Grim Dwellers are still firing. Not getting a whole lot of damage, but at least routing those Orc Laborers. But here comes an explosion. Man. The Grim Dwellers are doing work for sure. Shooting down those Chaos Dwarf Warriors who have driven back, who have sneaked through the first line and actually caught that Goblobber. Oh no. That was an out of position Goblobber that got cut down. They could have done more damage to infantry, but I don't think it matters anymore. More explosives. Oh, that one missed. These Grim Dwellers are quite lucky. Still got hit by the Dreadquake, but at least it's not a direct hit from the mortar. And the Flame Cannon is still firing as the Dreadquake mortar didn't really kill off the unit. It is not effective against scattered formations, but yeah, the second line of Dwarf Warriors are being mobilized to try and duke it out against the enemy Chaos Dwarf. So, oh no! Finally, the Grim Dwellers' luck has run out. The Dreadquake Mortar has turned their attention against the Grim Dwellers. The first shot might be unlucky, unable to score a hit, but the second shot finally landed and that Grim Dwellers unit died, leaving the backline completely exposed as the Dwarf Warriors are either busy or dead. Now the Chaos Dwarf melee threats are pushing in. And yeah, the Dreadquake Mortar is just unimpeded. The Dwarf Warriors are pushing up trying to catch the Dreadquake Mortar, but a shot from the Dreadquake Mortar finished them off, and that's all they wrote. Yeah. This is rough. With the Dreadquake Mortar, with the cannons not able to counter the Dreadquake Mortar, this is rough, man. More Dreadquake shots coming in. This time, oh, Flames of Asgore deleting those Dwarf Warriors despite them managing to rout off the Chaos Dwarf Warriors. Explosions from the Akron's Miners are counteracting those Chaos Dwarf Warriors, but it might just be too little too late at this point. Another Dreadquake in the round here, and then these Dwarf Warriors will also be gone, while the Chaos Dwarf Blunderbusses are approaching enemy artillery, shutting down 3 models of the Flame Cannons. Wait, shutting down... Oh, they haven't shut down the models yet. But yeah. They're shooting. But now they have turned around to instead deal with the Dwarf Warriors as they charge in. Most of them were not in a good firing position, so not quite able to shut them down. But yeah, the Dreadquake Mortar, how much value did it get? Wait, no. These are Thunders. 3 chevrons, 3,000 gold worth of damage value, earning back their worth, and then some more. Another Dreadquake shot. Friendly fire. Beautiful friendly fire. These blunderbusses, poor guys. But yeah, yeah. Now the dwarves are being a stubborn unit trying to mount a counter-attack as the front line of the Chaos Dwarves are actually crumbling. The Dwarf Warriors were able to hold their ground for now. With the missiles earlier managed to drive back the chaff and a more expensive and less numerous Chaos Dwarf front line. Akron's Miners come back and use up the rest of their explosions are also very nice. So maybe they still have a chance. Maybe. The Dwarf Warriors have managed to caught the Dreadquake Mortar in melee, but it is in guard mode and it might still fire. While the cannon unit is out of HP. Still have a lot of ammo, just out of HP. Flame Cannon has ran out of ammo though, and it's not exactly great against the Chaos Daoida due to a lot of the damage being mitigated either by armor or by fire resistance. At least it still managed to earn back its value and some more by being an insanely good counter infantry artillery. But yeah, this might be the Daoi's only chance to mount a counter attack and try to win this one back, as they are pushing back and trying to go after the enemy missiles. If they can keep the missiles offline, they might still have a chance, but it looks like a lot of the units are breaking as well, taking more and more damage. Oh no, Flames of Asgore, and these Dwarf Warriors are not able to get out in time. They die, and then it might just be army losses soon, as they have ran out of ammo everywhere. Malachi Makaisen is still fighting, but against an Inferno Castellan, he's not going to enjoy it. He has less melee stats than... Well, roughly... Oh, he has more melee stats than Inferno Castellan. Never mind. But he doesn't have armor piercing, and the Inferno Castellan has a lot of armor. And yeah, that's going to be army losses with the Dreadquake Mortar actually earning back its value and then some more in this battle there. Definitely counter-picking nicely on using the terrain to his advantage. Very nice pick from Borain. You rarely see the Dreadquake. And yeah, that's it. It's a warning shot. That's it to be. Dreadquake is a menace to honorable Dowie, for sure. Look at the powerful artillery. I think CH should make a flying unit with it. Isn't that just the flying bolt, the Thunder Barge? That's literally just the Thunder Barge with all the explosions. But yeah. GG Dwarf player hung in there but was really done on the build screen. That is basically what happened. They got no good ideas to counteract the Dreadquake Motor. Even if they got gyros, they're just gonna get screened by blunderbusses and fireglaves. So yeah, they don't really have any good answer. They on an open map they still have a chance by using the cannons to counterfire the Dreadquake, but on the Toothgrass Hilt as the map, the Chaos Dwarf player utilized that terrain perfectly. Now, the Dwarf's only chance in this matchup, and I'm gonna do some shameless plugging for my favorite Dowie unit. The Doomseeker Vanguard build might still have a chance there if you just jump in their face with like 5 Dwarf Miners and 3 Doomseekers and just try to blitz your way through the enemy front line. Maybe you still have a chance. Maybe is the keyword here. But yeah, it's rough, man. It's rough. For the terrain specific thing. Draswolf did some really good damage with the Flames of Asgore, but yeah, that's about it. It's mostly the Dreadquake Motors like killing half the Dowie army. It's pretty ridiculous, man. The Flame Cannon did well. Cannons just don't have a good line of sight to countershoot. Goblobbers got caught early in melee, so they weren't able to use up all their value. Grimdelvers and the Thunders, they just kind of suck here. And the Dwarf Warriors also just got hammered by the explosion of the Dreadquake Mortars. Also these Thunders as well. These Thunder Gratrakers as well. It's just set times. They struggled. Yeah. Alright, let's see. Empire versus Beastman here. Curio versus Ferret or Felix, depending on which name you're using. Curio going with a front line of spears backed up by a couple archers, one of them the huntsman, the other just the regular archers, 3 Empire Knights and 3 Halberd Demogryphs, really ready to fight those monsters in melee with Boris Todbringer, my favorite Empire Lord, in the skies on a Griffin. Crush the weak, -4 leadership, another -8 from Blood Roar. That's -12 leadership to really suppress the enemy leadership and terrify them away using the Griffin's terror. Really nice against Beastmen. While the spell casting, I forgot about that part. Bright Wizard with Burning Head and Cascading Fire Cloak with one of the Demogryphs is the raw out of Griffites, by the way. For the Beastmen, the front line of Angor Spears backed up by Zangors and some Razor Gore Hurts and 2 more Harpies in the skies and a bunch of Senegors in the forest. Okay. Yeah, this is a pretty neat build. Fate of Buna in the spell kit and Spirit Leech. Very nice. I think this is a more reasonable build. Yeah, this is a reasonable build against the Empire. Fate of Buna against heavy cavalry, and then you've got throwing axes on the far side as well to hack them down. So yeah, we shall see what happens. There's also 1 single chariot, Tuskor chariots. And Senegals are ready to do some charging. The problem is that there's not a lot of good targets for them to fight outside of the archers and the huntsmen. We shall see what happens here. Spirit Leech already on Todbringer, but unfortunately it is not a good spell against Todbringer. Normally against single entities Lord, yeah, it's good, but Todbringer does have the Middenland Rune Fang, providing healing to himself, so he can just back the hell out of there and wait for the regeneration to heal him from the direct damage. So if you're trying to Spirit Leech down Boris Todbringer, you need enough Winds of Magic to drain him down to the healing cap, which is not exactly a feasible thing. I would rather recommend saving the Winds of Magic and just Fate of Buna some of these Demogryphs at that point. And yeah, the Knights charging into the Unbraced Spears, getting some good damage, and Gors clashing into Spears while being shot by Archers. Same goes for the Razor Gore Hurts, getting shot by Huntsmen, I believe. Yeah, oh wait, well, hold on. And also stuck on Spears. Oh, counter charge from the Raw Out of Griffites, plus a Burning Head. Nuking the leadership of all these Spears, and these Angors are routing. While the Senegals are fighting Empire Knights, definitely not an engagement they want to be in. Tusco Chariots have been activated, but it might be too late. Burning Hand actually did a bunch of friendly fire onto friendly spears and huntsmen. Tusco charges straight through, plowing clean through those spears, getting some really nice damage done. Now they need to get on the enemy archers. Keep the huntsmen busy. Oh no, Senegal is getting too close to the enemy huntsmen and are getting shredded by the anti-launch missiles, while the Demogryphs and Empire Knights are able to run down the Angor spears, and this is quite brutal. Groovos of Wolf's Run and Senegal sitting right in front of a huntsman shooting range and getting deleted. Finally, some Harpies are jumping down to try and disrupt them, but they're shooting in guard mode, so they're still shooting. They might be in guard mode, might be not, I'm not sure, but they're now retreating, while the Royal Out of Graphites are uncontested so far, just running out Angor after Angor with nothing to fight them back. Oh right, yeah, I forgot about that part. You might want some Minos in this matchup just to fight enemy armored cavalry. Otherwise, they are just gonna be running around unchecked. Good to isolate the engagements, needs to overload everything and wants to distract the demis for sure. A lot of stuff. I think this is what newer players would struggle a lot with, is to execute like a well-coordinated strike with everything at once, because you need to be good at multitasking to do that. I myself sucks at that as well, so you can see me like a lot of units lagging behind if I'm trying to rush the enemy army, and my rush just falls apart because of that. So it's definitely harder to execute a well-coordinated rush as a result. And why people, newer players especially, try to box up in general. But yeah, it looks like Boris Topbringer and the Demogryphs have beaten up the poor Great Shaman, while the Harpies are flooding some spears, but they don't have the ability to turn the tables, to turn this battle around. So they are gonna be the last to go, probably, as the Royal of Graphites and Demogryphs are just running down routed Angors. There's not a lot options here to counteract the enemy Demogryphs, and the Winds of Magic were used on Spirit Leech instead of Fate of Buna, so the Demogryphs were just running unchecked throughout the whole battle. And the Burning has just cleaning up enemy infantry lines. So the Beastman Angor line died pretty quick. The Angors held longer, but they also got sent into combat slightly later, so that was not exactly the best engagement they could have had, and yeah, everything just kind of fell apart because of a little bit of a disjointed rush there. But yeah, again, it's just it's definitely harder to play a well-coordinated rush than a defensive army. So yeah, if say the Tusco Chariots charges in and then the Angors are all rushing at the same time with Razor Gors coming in from the flanks, there might be too many threats for the three Demogryphs to deal with, and they might be stretched thin, and you might have a better time to isolate them and deal with them, especially if you can dump a Fate of Buna onto one of the unit, basically taking it out of the equation by deleting its health straight up. But yeah, it's hard. It's definitely hard to play a coordinated strike of multi-unit rushing. So I wouldn't think too hard on this. As you play more in multiplayer, you'll get better over time, and these things will be easier with you if you just practice more. Anyways, Inarian versus Buena Roja here. It is a MTK clan civil war, with Inarian going with front line of Sauruses, 5 of them in total, 4 skink skirmishers, 2 red crested, and 4 more Koan Spear riders. Once again, going for a mass skink and Saurus rush, with Krogar leading the army and a skink priest of Flock of Doom. Yeah, skink priest of Flock of Doom, because it's only coming in with Flock of Doom, like all beast casters. 3 times enemies and 3 times 110 armor. Chaff cap was a big hurdle for Beastman. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Oh right, I forgot about the 3 Empire Knights. That is true. Which is why you kind of need Minos with great weapons sometimes. Or at least Witches of Calvin Guard. But anyways, for the Siege army here, a front line of blue horrors backed up by pink horrors, just mass firepower. And in the sky, screamers of Siege for their anti-large armor piercing, and some kills warriors of Siege with halberds. Let's see how they perform in this melee rush of Lizardman army, because that's a lot of Sauruses, like what we faced earlier. We brought in missile spam, like the Siege army, and we got rushed to death, so we shall see. Leading the army is a changeling into Skull Taker, but why? But why? Why Skull Taker? I don't get it. Like, why? I guess he's a decent melee fighter. He can fight Krogar, but why? Anyway, Scale Saucer of Siege is of Metal, Searing Doom, and Plague of Rust, which will be really good if there's a Dino. Plague of Rust, the Dino, and then just load them up with Pink Horror and Blue Horror Fire. But right now, the Sauruses are pushing, and they have shields to mitigate the Warp Flames. And they're charging in. The Siege Warp Fire is not doing a whole lot to the Sauruses, who also have 60 armor, by the way. The Red Crested have been driven back by the missile spam, but the Sauruses are in. The Cohen Spear Riders are in. Armor debuff is on, nuking the armor on those Cohen Spear Riders, but there's no units shooting in, so they're not taking that much damage. Anti-large armor piercing from the Screamers might come in handy, but yeah, the Sauruses are grinding through those blue horrors, and some of them are even getting to the pink horrors. I don't see any Sour Guts here, so it's not like these pink horrors have anything they can do against the enemy Sauruses. At least the Cohen Spear Riders is suffering a lot of damage from all those Screamers, and now the Halberds as well. But yeah, they are mostly retreating out of that engagement, while the Saurus are having a field day against those Siege Horrors, beating them up, straight up beating them up in melee, and yeah, I think that might actually win this. Except where, well, Skull Taker is in the fight there, just grinding against them. But yeah, the Sauruses are doing a good job. Now they're paired up against Saurus, against the Halberds, which might be a bigger problem, as they are heavy armor. But yeah, the Saurus are still faring decently, while Cohen Spear Riders are trying to charge down enemy pink horrors at the back. While the Cohen Spear Riders are trying to retreat, but the Shrieking Sky Rays and the other Screamers are not letting them to do so. But overall, I think the Lizardman has a bit of an advantage right now so far. They might be losing a lot of their cavalry, but what does Siege have? Infantry, which is very vulnerable to Flock of Doom spams, especially the pink horrors, not having the most HP in the world and relying on physical resistance. And the infantry is mostly dealt with on the Siege side, so the Lizardman can now drive into the back line there, shutting down those pink horrors. Oh, that was a Searing Doom, nice Searing Doom onto some blobbed up skinks, but yeah, the Saurus warriors are still very numerous. There's still many Saurus warriors. There's still a lot of low dots on the field, so I don't know. Also, the Searing Doom probably is better over here with a lot more concentrated Sauruses. And Krogar is slowly winning against Skull Taker due to infantry support nearby. I think we can fast forward this one. It's just a Saurus grinding through everything, chasing down the pink horrors who are trying to run away. Occasionally able to do so, but eventually the Sauruses catch up and they start taking damage again. Halberd Warriors are doing their best, but it's not going to be enough. Flock of Dooms are going to do a bit more damage over time, I think. Ooh, looks like a tier 3 army ability from Siege, deleting a chunk of those Saurus and Skinks, but a lot of Skinks were able to get away there, and it is just a straight up grind. Yep, always Butchers, for sure, yeah. Butchers are really good. They have skulls and he takes them. It makes sense. True. For VM, Empire Razors can be great. They don't get wrecked on charge from demis like Santis do. Ooh, okay. That is true. Razor Gores do have a bit more armor, and they do have armor piercing to punch back. But even then, it's just eh. Oh, and they have a bit more stats in general. But yeah, yeah, the Razor Gores needs to get a charge to actually trade well into Empire Cavalry. If they don't, then they're just kind of dying, because they're still a glass cannon unit. But yeah, Sauruses did well, just cutting through all those demons, doing the job left to them by the old ones there. A lot of good damage overall, because the firepower of the horrors don't really deal much damage to them. They have 60 armor and some of them have shields, and then they beat down those lightly armored horrors, and even the Saurus into halberds were doing okay. While the Cohen Spear Riders took a lot of damage, but they were just sacrificing themselves to kill off everything else that can't be killed by the Sauruses. Screamers and just distracting some of the pink horrors and whatnot. Krogar didn't do a whole lot of damage, and if more time was given to the Skink Priest, he can definitely do more Flock of Doom work. While the Skull Taker didn't do a whole lot here, neither did the Horrors, Halberds probably, and the Shrieking Skyrays did most of the work, but far from enough to get a win. Let's see, we have 1, 2. I hope we don't have. Wait, do we have 2 Druchi armies? Wait, no. Okay, never mind. I was mixing up the Tomb Kings with Greenskins. Let me see. Siege versus Greenskin, Druchi versus Greenskins. Versus Tomb Kings, Druchi versus Lizard Boys. Yeah, I think that's. We don't have any duplicates. Okay, we're good. Let's go through them one by one, and let me just check if I miss any replays. No, I don't think so. So we should be good to go in with the rest of the replays. All right, Siege going for Greenskins. The Dark Elf to Tomb Kings one was kind of close. If you're looking for some good games, I'm trying to cast everything, so we'll eventually get there. Buena Roja once again going with Changeling. He really loves Changeling. Versus Hayseed's Greenskins. Buena Roja once again spamming blue and pink horrors. Kind of typical for Siege, honestly. But at the same time, Change Bringers. Flying Flamers. And with a bunch of Marauders of Siege on the field as well. Let's see what Changeling is changing. The Green Knight. Interesting. I guess that makes sense. The Greenskins are known for their magic damage, unless they brought Spirit Leech. We shall see. Oh no, they did bring Spirit Leech. All right. Yeah. Metal Caster with Searing Doom and Plague of Rust. Good combo with the pink blue horrors and stuff. But against Greenskins, it's only useful against 2 things: Black Orcs and I guess you can also, yeah, Black. It's only really useful against Black Orcs and Rogue Idol. I guess the Rogue Idol can be a problem for a Siege if you don't bring enough halberds and stuff, but yeah. I guess it can also be used on Orc Boar Biggins and Stone Trolls, but I don't think either of them are that numerous on. Okay, there are quite a few Orc Boar Biggins. 4 of them, in fact, one of them, the Broken Tusk mob, a front line of Orc Boys and Squigs, backed up by some Goblin Archers and a couple of Trolls. Trolls, a risky unit into Siege due to how much fire damage they have, but we shall see what happens later. And leading the army is that an Orc boss? Is an Orc War boss? Is a generic one with only Smash them faster, boosting melee attack and getting your units to kill enemy units faster. Great River Troll Hack with Spirit Leech and Spirit Leech and Purple Son of Zerus. Yeah. Oh, the Changebringers are gonna be a problem. There are 5 Goblin Archers, so they might be a great asset against the Changebringers, but if they got shut down soon, then the Changebringers are unstoppable at that point. We shall see what happens here. Let's fast forward, and players are approaching each other slowly, very, very slowly. I can't even watch this in normal speed because they're still a minute and a half in and they still haven't made any contact. Finally, Blue Horror is firing at the incoming infantry and Squigs. Pink Horrors as well. Getting some damage done now. Some really good damage done even with the shields on the Orc Boys. The Squigs, of course, no shields, take even more damage. But units are clashing. Goblin Archers are not in position to fire yet. While Changebringers, oh no, they're firing at the Orc War Boss. They should be shooting at the Orc War Biggins. That's where they got the most damage from, because the single entity damage isn't a strong suit for the Changebringers. Their flaming damage is more of an AoE damage thing. Oh, this is going to be a beautiful firing lane. Right down the line on these Orc War Biggins, burning through their HP bar. smell of toasted mushrooms and bacon. But yeah, Orc Boys are charging in, trying to shut down and break through the enemy blue horrors, but looks like the first wave of Orc Boys are being driven back by the spam of pink horror firepower, while the Orc Boar Boy Biggins over here got stuck on infantry and got shut down by spears and flamers. Searing Doom killing even more Orc Boar Boy Biggins and Orc Boys. And seems like, oh no, trolls are standing right in front of the blue and pink horrors and are getting lit up. They have weakness to fire, so that's going to be even more damage on them. But yeah, these trolls jumped into the blue horrors and managed to break them down. They need to get onto the pink horrors ASAP. Although the Orc War Boss is a bit busy fighting two characters. The Green Knight, oh no, that is bad. No Spirit Leech onto the Green Knight just yet. Seems like the Giant River Trollhack was a bit busy. And the Changebringer is deleting those trolls who are just kind of lagging behind, not going into melee. Yeah, I think that's gonna be a victory for. That might just be a victory for the Siege army here. Greenskins taking a lot of damage. Also, the goblins are not in position to counterfire at those Changebringers, and their front line is completely wrecked, leaving only pretty much just the missiles nearby. And there's still no Spirit Leech on the Green Knight. What the hell? Oh, probably the Spirit Leech earlier Spirit Leeches were on the pink horror. No wait, sorry, on the Chaos Sorcerer only, maybe. But the Changebringers are unstoppable. Nothing can counterfire them. There's no Vindictive Glare. There's no archers shooting at them. There's no flying units on the Greenskin side. And while the Green Knight is sticking close to the Orc War Boss, with the Frostbite effect slowing down the Orc War Boss significantly, down to 47 speed every time he got hit. So yeah, things are definitely not looking great here. Another Searing Doom. This time onto some overlap. Trolls and Orc Boys and some Squigs. Not doing a whole lot of damage to the Trolls, but it's all about sending that message. And the Orcs are done for. Goblin Archers are still nearby, and they're pushing in, trying to get some shots. But I don't see how the Greenskins can pull this one back. All their important assets are burned down by the Changebringers, and some of them still haven't used up all their ammo either. I'm gonna fast forward this one. The Green Knight is still quite healthy, no Spirit Leeches in his way yet, while all those Greenskins are being routed. Oh no! The Giant River Trollhack got burned down by the Flamer, and now the Changebringers are coming in to chase her down. Orc War Boss running the hell away from the Green Knight, but the Green Knight, being an inferior unit, is way faster than the Orc War Boss on the pig. And that is going to be GG with the Tianjin army securing a very substantial victory here. Changebringers unstoppable, nothing to counter them in this battle, and getting a solid win. Everything else was just kind of like helping out. Mostly it's the Pink Horrors and Changebringers carrying the day, and of course the Changeling cutting down the Orc War Boss there to lower the enemy balance of power. Very nicely done by Buena with the Changeling experimentations. I struggled to pronounce that word. And yeah, archers. Goblin archers are shit. They're so bad. But even if they can get into range to shoot at those Changebringers, they're still gonna suck. They have poor accuracy, low damage, and yeah, they just suck in general. And yeah, Orc Boar Boy Biggins getting burnt down. The smell of barbecue bacon and mushrooms, man. Poor boys. Oh, it's getting a bit cold. Let me just close the windows. Give him a second. There we go. There we go. Let's see. What are we looking at? Let's see. Druchi versus the Nekarans. Alright, Skybrand Exiled once again going with the Dark Elves. This time going with Fire Sorcerers, I believe. A front line of Bleak Swords, 3 Koa Knights, 2 Doomfire Warlocks, one of them is Slanesh Harvester, 2 more units of Eagle Claw. No, these are not Eagle Claw. These are Reaper Bolt Throwers. Sorry, it's the main difference between the 2 Bolt Throwers is one's horizontal, the other is vertical. That's the biggest difference. Yeah. Anyways, Reaper Bolt Thrower is already firing, and yeah. What else? Oh wait, what the okay. I hope the internet's holding up because I'm getting a warning message from YouTube. I'm not sure what's happening. Hope everything's fine, but yeah, we shall see. Crows of Cain with the Raven Heralds, regiment of renowned Dark Riders, which have flying mounts and armor-piercing crossbows. Not as much burst damage as a regular repeater crossbow Dark Rider, though. But yeah, Doomfire Warlocks with Slaanesha's Harvester. Fire Sorcerers with Burning Head, and Burning Head only wanting to kill a bunch of chaff. For the other side, for the undead of the Tomb Kings, a front line of Crypt Ghouls, and a bunch of Skeleton Spears, and Necro Horsemen supported by, once again, Necropolis Knights with Halberds. A very similar, pretty much the same build as before. As I mentioned, for newer players, you can always just bring that one single build and adjust them to deal with different matchups. Just like here, there's very minimal changes to the build. Spirit Leech, Fate of Buna, and of course Staff, Tomb Blade, Staff, and Liber Mortis. Spirit Leech already on the Supreme Sorcerers of Fire. Very, very wise choice there, as the Supreme Sorcerers of Fire do not have a lot of HP. Oh, immediately dropping another Spirit Leech, using that Staff of Nagash to lower that cooldown, allowing him to spam spells, getting some nice burst damage just with Spirit Leech and Spirit Leech alone. Reaper Bolt Thrower, though, targeting that Chosen of the Gods and taking HP away. And the Tomb Kings might want to start pushing towards the enemy backline, because they're not going to get the engagement here. The Doomfire Warlocks are too fast for them to actually catch. Burning Head onto the Crypt Ghouls, nice dodge, taking only a quarter of HP damage. Already way better than sitting there taking it. Just moving around might help. Oh, Ark in the Black taking a lot of damage. Just one volley from the Raven Heralds already knocking him down to knocking out a quarter of HP from the guy. But he managed to pull back and will be now staying the hell away from these skirmish cav, while the Reaper Bolt Throwers are doing God's work onto the Chosen of Chaos, Chosen of Gods here. Not Chosen of Chaos, exactly opposite of Chaos. But yeah, Hex Raves are trying to charge in, but Word of Pain is just gonna nuke their attack stats. Ooh, is that a one of Karido? Wait, what? Oh wait, no, that's the Bound Doombolt from the Doomfire Warlocks. Nice stuff. Sniping Ark in the Black. Yeah, one of Karaidon is only on Marathi. What was I thinking? But yeah, getting some nice damage on Ark in the Black with Soul Stealer onto these Necro Horsemen, and of course Hex Raves. Hex Raves do have spell resistance. These are Tomb Kings ones after all. But Burning Head on combined with Soul Stealer, that's a lot of investment to kill this unit and some cavalry. In the front line, the cavalry are Halberd. Necropolis Knights are stuck on the enemy infantry with a countercharge from the Quan Knights, so they need to pull back behind friendly spears. Let the infantry screen out the enemy cavalry, while Doomfire Warlocks are just Slaanesha's Harvester, killing a bunch of enemy infantry, eliminating their chaff support, and they probably summon skeletons, honestly. And yeah, less infantry support for the enemy, while Reaper Bolt Thrower continues to consistently take down those Chosen of the Gods. Soul Blight onto this blob, nuking the enemy damage stats, reducing damage while allowing your units to tank a little longer. Also, lowering the enemy armor so the Doomfire Warlocks can perhaps do a bit more damage in the fight. Reaper Bolt Thrower continues to do good damage, just poking away at the enemy models, and yeah, getting some good work done over time. Kebra Guard, though, uncontested so far, getting some decent kills already. Now pushing straight through. They are now trying to drive in. Oh, they're trying to go after the enemy Reaper Bolt Throwers, but it's probably too late already. Might as well just... This is where you might need more cavalry, I guess, but... Yeah. Koa Knights managed to repel the enemy cavalry attack, so it's the Tomb King's cavalry are definitely struggling to break through. And they're running out of units too. Bundles of Fire is still quite in the middle though. Spirit Leech draining away the Supreme Sorcerers. Where is Ark in the Black? Yeah, he's still in the forest there. Received some heals from Realm of Souls, at least. Burning Head, incinerating some skellies, making sure that Ark in the Black is running out of infantry support, while the Raven Heralds continues to poke away his health. And the Tomb King's army just have nothing to do against it. Maybe a Fate of Buna would work here, actually. But I doubt he would have enough magic since he has been spamming Spirit Leeches. And also Fate of Buna never finished off the entire unit. They just don't have any flyers or shooters to deal with that flying unit in the sky. So all the Tomb Kings can do is just keep driving forward with their units, trying to break as many of the Dark Elves as possible while their leadership is kind of running on a timer. They still need those Spirit Leeches on Naka in the Black to finish off the Supreme Sorceress, and now he's not able to do so. Maybe it's time. Maybe it's worth time to drop in an Overcast Spirit Leech just to try and kill that Supreme Sorceress. We shall see here as yeah, the Tomb Kings are definitely making progress, driving into the enemy Rip Revolvers with the Crypt Ghouls. Oh yeah, there's a Spirit Leech. It might even be an Overcast version. We can't really see it because it only buffs range. It might not be an Overcast version actually. But wait, the Archon died while I was looking away. Oh well, Rip Archon. And the Supreme Sorceress survives. No more Spirit Leeches towards her way, and she will live on as long as she doesn't drop onto the ground. As the Dark Elves do dominate the sky right now. Crypt Ghouls will try their best to duke it out. But they are just an infantry, and there's still a lot of Dark Elves left. For some Psycho charging, and also some Bleak Swords as an Anvil. Oh yeah, Burning Heads as well. Just gonna burn down the enemy Skellies and Crypt Ghouls. Even the Kepler God is very vulnerable to Burning Head due to only having 70 armor. It's not bad, but it's not the most in the world either. Like, look, Sauruses have 60 armor already, so 70. It's only marginally better. Looks like both players forgot to capture the point, by the way. So the Kepler God tried to capture it, but by this time it's already too late. There's not enough time left to get the ticket. Yeah, there's not enough time to capture the point, let alone getting the ticket. So that is going to be GG with a victory belonging to the Dark Elves. Burning down all the Skellies and shooting up Archon with Raven Herald. Nice pick with the Reaper Bolt Throwers. Don't usually see them, but in this matchup it worked against the Chosen of the Gods. Not necessarily working every time in this matchup, but yeah, in this particular game it worked. Doomfire Warlocks also did some decent damage, reducing enemy armor, weapon strength, and Doombolt, Lesser Doombolt plus Lesser Soul Stealer accumulate some decent work throughout the battle. Tomb Kings, they got pretty countered with the Burning Head onto all their infantry spam, and yeah, there's a lot of magic damage on the field. The Soul Stealer, Doombolt, Lesser Doombolt, I mean, and Hex Wraiths. So they're in quite a bit of a danger. Yeah, they're in a pinch in this battle, and they didn't manage to dig themselves out of that hole. Yeah. Crypt Ghouls did alright, but they were just an infantry. Getting Psycho Charged to death is their destiny. And the Kepler Guard as well, same thing. Fighting a bunch of low cost, low value Bleak Swords, and yeah, Burning Head. Burning Head was a problem for them as well. Alright, let's we've seen this one, we've played this ourselves. Let me just double check to make sure I didn't skip any replay files. Seen this one, we've seen this one, seen this one. Seen this one as well. Change versus Green Skin. Yep, we've seen that. Yep, we played that. So last 4 battles here. Druchi again. No, let's go for something different. Let's see. Oh, the Dark Elves Tomb Kings are kind of close. It was already casted, so let's cast something without Tomb Kings or Dark Elves. Chaos Dwarves versus the Empire. And wait, am I seeing double Magma Cannon? You never see these. The fuck? I have a feeling these Magma Cannons are gonna die fast. They suck. Honestly, Magma Cannons suck. Alright, for the army builds here, the Daoizar front line of Hobgobble, Sneaky Gits, and just Hobgobble, Sneaky Gits, they are hidden away, being a stalking unit, and then some blunderbusses backed up by Bull Center Renders to counteract enemy cavalry. They're the shielded, shielded? Yeah, they're the shielded version, so they have better melee defense, but less offensive power, probably just trying to hold the line while doing some damage back. Magma cannons can start counter-firing, but they are outranged by the Hammer of Witches, and they're gonna hammer some, no, not witches this time, just demons. Hammer the demons from afar. Orc laborers, and leading the army is Zatan the Black with his sadistic snare, just for the snaring ability, supported by Demon Smith Sorcerer of Hashut, with Burning Wrath to do some AoE damage, I guess, to bomb out some of the enemy infantry. On the other side, Boris Todbringer, once again very effective against laborers and Hobgobble units. Not as much against Chaos Dwarf units, but it is pretty much a majority of Hobgobble units on the field today. Swordsmen on the front line, backed up by some crossbows and a couple Hawkland long rifles. They might be outranged by the Magma cannons, but they are supported by the Hammer of Witches, who are already leaving a mark on that poor Magma cannon, which is why nobody really uses the Magma cannon, because they really suck when your opponent has any kind of anti-artillery tools, like anti-artillery. Hammer of Witches is a nice pick indeed. Who knew? Who knew? The dwarves, both dwarves, artillery mechanical factions would have artillery as their own weaknesses, would lose against artillery fights. Who knew? Yeah, spears here, and leading the army is Boris Todbringer, a bunch of Knights of the Black Rose, defensive, heavily armored cavalry with a shit ton of melee defense, 50 melee defense, and absolutely badass looking armor. That flower ring of black roses is very neat. I think the only problem is that the horses themselves are not dark. They're not black horses. So that doesn't really fit with the color theme, but whatever. Spearmen protecting those Hammer of Witches, and Gold Wizard with Searing Doom and Plague of Rust. Alright, let's get the battle started. Wait, hold on. Yeah, let's get the battle started and fast forward a bit. As the Magma Cannon just get hammered by the Hammer of Witches. As you can see here, it doesn't just hammer witches, it hammers everything in its line of sight. And the Holy Line Long Rifle is getting hit by the Burning Rafts, just some minor, and it's not that minor actually. Some pretty decent AoE damage. Both sides are trading damage from afar there, and another Burning Raft. This time onto... Did it just delete the half? What? They just deleted half the Hammer of Witches. What the fuck? I did not expect that to be an anti-artillery spell. What the fuck? It knocked out, straight up knocked out one of the Hammer of Witches. Only 3 models left. And the Magma Cannons are counter-firing. Holy shit. What the fuck? Hogland Long Rifles are also opening fire now. Swordsmen are moving up and trying to fight those Sneaky Gits. But Sneaky Gits might actually win this one due to the fact that they have free cursor fire. And at the same time, they have anti-infantry bonus. And you can see the swordsmen are taking quite a bit of damage. Knights of the Black Rose, though, a very sturdy unit, are now pushing in. Blunderbusses raining down shots onto those Hotline Long Rifles as they have pushed into line. While the Hotline Long Rifles were too distracted by the Bullseye Surrenders. They probably should have... I would say Hotline Long Rifles would want to shoot at the Blunderbusses because their shots penetrate and can actually do good work against dense infantry formations like the blunderbusses. Right now, it's probably too late now. They got absolutely lit up. Crossbowmen also got shot up pretty bad. They might want to shoot another Burning Wrath onto the Hammer of Witches. It might actually knock out the unit. I need to test this unit ability a bit. Sorry, I'm gonna go into army selection screen later and try it out. But Hotline Long Rifles retreated and now opening fire again, but the Empire formations are in a bit of a trouble. Boris Todbringer got hit by a sadistic snare as well, and he becomes a sitting duck in front of the blunderbusses, taking a huge chunk of damage. Oh no, and the fire... Oh, those are not fire damage, never mind. But at least the blunderbusses are now caught by the great swords. I totally forgot about them. Searing Doom doing good damage to the Chaos Dwarf blunderbusses, deleting them. and Boris Topbringer is able to hang on in the fight. Knights of Black Roses also shut down those other blunderbusses. There's still one remaining though, and they're in range to shoot at Boris Topbringer and light him up. Zatan the Black is a decent melee combatant and he can hold his own against Boris Topbringer, while Boris, too distracted by his opponent, is gonna get lit up by those blunderbusses. Magma Cannon continues to fire and seems like the Chaos Dwarves are getting a bit of an upper hand. The Burning Wrath still wreaks even more havoc among the Empire lines though. Yeah. Hammer of Witches still haven't managed to finish off the Magma Cannon though. That is a bit of a problem. Searing Doom, thinning out some of that Chaos Dwarf infantry there. Knights of the Black Rose just kind of hang on in the fight with their superior tanky stats. But these Knights of the Black Rose got... Wait, what happened to them? Were they fighting a bunch of Bull Center Renders and got hacked down? I'm not quite sure, but more Magma Cannons onto the Great Swords, burning through the HP bar, while the Sneaky Kids and Alt Laborers are driving into the backline, shutting down the Hammer of Witches. And I think that might just be an Empire win. High leadership keeping that Hammer online for sure. Yeah, the Burning Wrath was pretty insane. Fortunately, my cannons missed. Yeah. The Magma Cannons just doesn't have a lot of good accuracy. That's why it's good against infantry, not anything else, right? But yeah, that's gonna be RB losses here. Oh shit, I need to load this replay again. What the fuck? What the fuck with that Burning Wrath? And yeah, I'm just gonna catch up on what happened to the Knights of Black Roses earlier. Give me a second here. Just fast forward some of the stuff. Yeah, that Burning Wrath, man, what the fuck? I never expected it to do so much on impact with the damage. Alright, Knights of Black Rose is getting a nice charge. And they just bullied those Hobgoblin Sneaky Kids. Oh, they got charged by the Bull Center Renders because they charged the Sneaky Kids with no infantry follow-up afterwards. Oh, and got shot by the blunderbusses. Oh, that makes sense. Knights were too isolated and fighting Renders. Yeah, that's basically what happened. Burning Wrath, if you get a good angle, it just deletes units. Yeah, true. If it gets a good hit, it's very RNG dependent. I would say the Hogland Long Rifles definitely would have benefited with shooting at the blunderbusses instead of shooting at Bull Center Renders. You can shoot the Bull Center Renders with crossbows, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, GG to both players. Bahrain getting a win. And Bull Center Renders getting some decent work done. Magma Cannon, one of them did some decent work, but those Burning Wraths, man, holy shit. And Blunderbuster getting some good damage as well. Managed to catch those crossbows and Hawkland Long Rifles in range, and more importantly, sadistic snare onto Boris Topbringer, and then he just jumped in and got distracted by Zatan the Black and got lit up by those shotguns, taking some pretty devastating damage. Yeah, good work overall. Good damage with the Hammer of Witches as well, knocking but unfortunately it really tried to carry it, knocking out one of the Magma Cannon, but one of them survived. Yeah. Long Rifles don't have shield breaker. Blunderbusters aren't great targets for them. They do have model penetration. Let me just quickly check actually. Let's see. Let's just get a let's get a high elf unit. But yeah, the shield not having shield breaker is a problem. Actually, high elf. And then we get a caster without anything. And then we go to Glacier Lake because that's the smallest map. And then we get the Chaos Dwarfs. Just a quick testing. Oh wait, no, not Chaos Dwarfs, Empire. But yeah, good game from both sides in the Chaos Dwarf versus Empires. But we'll have 2 more replays today and then we will be done. Let's wait and see. I'm not sure actually, I've never tried to investigate that. So we'll have to see. It makes no sense, because if it can penetrate multiple people, it can definitely penetrate some shields. Yeah, it does some decent damage. Okay, that's 2 units on 1. Let's see 1 unit on 1. Hits 2. That did some damage. Slow motion. It might penetrate multiple model. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything blocking here. It still penetrates multiple model and does it count as artillery or small arms fire? Can you even block? Oh, these guys blocked it, maybe. They got knocked back but didn't knocked down. Didn't die or anything. Yeah, I can't really tell. I honestly can't tell. Oh, they count as artillery? Yeah, damage sustained under missile fire. Okay, they might actually block it. They might still penetrate. It's just that the model doesn't get knocked down or something. I'm not sure. They still penetrate though, so yeah. Or is it just knocking them back but not applying damage? I have no freaking idea, because you need to look at individual model HP and I don't have the tools for it. Maybe CA does have the back end, but like, I don't have the development tools, man. I can't see into the coding or anything. Like, I will need some really back end tools to look into it. Which I would not have access to that. That's like business secret, man. Commercial secret, that sort of stuff. So, you know, you can't get that. But yeah. I think it still penetrate multiple models, regardless of shields, which doesn't make sense, but it really doesn't make sense with bullets and yeah, it doesn't make sense with bullets against shields, because fucking it, especially not for sniper shots like those. Actually, the RR gets shield breaker, so that would be a bit weird. Yeah. Anyways, that's enough investigation on that. Let's just check something else, which is Dark Elves versus the Lizardmen. Oh, 3 more battles actually. Alright, Scarbrand Exiled going with Malakav once more. This time 3 Dread Spears, 1 Witch Elves with 1 Chevron. I guess they have some leftover gold. 2 Dark Riders without shields and various other cavalry here. Yeah. We have Koa Knights and 3 of them and a couple Dark Riders with Repeater Crossbows, Siren of the Red Ruin, and Malakav with Soul Stealer and Blade Wind once again. For the Lizardmen, a front line of Saurus Warriors. Once again, we're seeing the Saurus and Skink spam. A very similar army from what we've seen before. Koan Spear Riders, Krogar, supported by Skink Priest and some Blow Dart Skink Skirmishers, and Recrested on the flank. Yeah, that battle starts, and Siren of the Red Ruin will move in and start trying to aim at the Skink Skirmishers. Oh my god, that's a lot of damage. A quarter of the Skink unit just got down. At least the HP got knocked out. Another shot, this one's less good, but the Saurus Warrior took a hit. And the Skink Skirmishers stop making kind of a blob with the Saurus Warriors for the Blade Wind to just rip through, doing some pretty good damage. Not as lucrative as the ones we've seen before. Still good work though. And Siren of the Red Ruin is skirmishing with the Lizardmen. Lizardmen driving their army up, but the Dark Elves are pulling back. It is Conquest Mode, so the timer is in. There's still a bit of time before they need to start capturing. And yeah, the Dark Elves are going on a bit of kiting, using the Dark Rider repeater crossbows to chip away some of the Cohen Spear Riders, as the Skink Skirmishers are not screening away those skirmish cavalry yet. Yeah, definitely want to put the Skink Skirmishers in front so that they can screen those skirmishers away with their blow dots. Because right now those Cohen Spear Riders are taking those Cohen Spear Riders are taking quite a bit of damage. Now the Cohen Knights are coming in. And in a straight up melee fight, I would say the Cohen Knights have an advantage over the Cohen Spear Riders because they have access to Murderous Prowess for that damage boost. And on top of that, they manage to catch those Cohen Spear Riders with a charge. They are being countercharged by some other Cohen Spear Riders, but they will soon be pulling back. And yeah, they're taking some damage in return, but Dress Spears are coming in while the one severely damaged Cohen Spear Riders suffered a lot of damage. Dark Riders and Cohen Knights are trying to go after the Skink Skirmishers on the flanks and running down some Red Crested as well as they're unbraced and getting charged. While the Dark Riders are free to roam the battlefield at this point in the center, one of the Cohen Spear Riders have been broken. Siren of the Red Ruin is also being thrown into battle. Not only does she have decent melee stats, she has anti-large armor piercing, and this Whale of Malice already used up once earlier, draining away nearby HP, getting some pretty good damage overall. But yeah, Cohen Spear Rider is taking more and more damage from those crossbows, and late wind ripping through the enemy front line. The lobbed up Saurus is definitely hurting now, getting counteracted by the AoE damage, but of course Dress Spears blowing up a bit too much, getting hit by the Flock of Doom as well in return. But yeah, the Blade Ruin definitely more painful for the Lizardmen than the Flock of Doom on the Dread Spears. A Hand of the Gods from Krogar, but not doing a whole lot of damage this time. While the Skink Skirmishers, the Cohen Spear Riders are all being pushed back by the Cohen Knights, who also got a buff from that Murderous Prowess, by the way. And seems like the Dark Elves is getting a pretty clear upper hand here. Some very fresh Cohen Spear Riders not engaging in any combat earlier. They need to do something, but they're just kind of standing there on the capture point. They need to be in battle, trying to charging and doing damage instead of standing around. Yeah, charging the Witch Elves would be a good call. Doing insane damage, but the Witch Elves have turned on the Witch Brew with more cavalry coming in to support them. So these Cohen Spear Riders are in a bit of trouble for sure. As one of the cavalry charging in are the Cohen Knights. Tattered Cohen cavalry charging into each other, but then here comes a healthy one. And the Cohen Spear Riders will be dead. While the Sauruses are just kind of stuck on Dress Spears, unable to go anywhere to support the fights anywhere else, allowing the Cohen Cavalry, Cohen Knights and Crossbows to pick off those Cohen Spear Riders one after the other. And yeah, the Cohen Spear Riders are in pretty big trouble now as they're running low in HP, health, and leadership. While the Skink Priest is kind of alone now. But yeah, at this point it is a very dominant Dark Elf advantage. And yep, you're right, Crow, I didn't announce who win tonight, but as you can see here, Scarbrand got a clean 4 victory, 4 consecutive wins on this tourney, and secured the champion, secured himself as the champion of this tourney. Dark Riders, repeated crossbows did some good damage. Siren of the Red Ruin is an interesting touch. Being thrown into combat as well, using the terror to break off Skinks and other units early, while the Cohen Cavalry has an advantage over the Cohen Spear Riders. Yeah, while the Lizardmen, the flank units got out-traded, Cohen Spear Riders didn't do a whole lot of damage, some being caught out of position. This one in specific getting caught by rear charge by Cohen Knights, and yeah, the Saurus didn't do a whole lot. There's not a lot of good melee units for them to fight. Witch Elves did some damage, but yeah, overall, like they can fight Dress Spears, but that's about it, and maybe Witch Elves, but that's about it. They don't have the mobility to keep up with the Dark Riders or the Cohen Knights, and they can't even catch the Siren of the Red Ruin. And might actually can be kited to death by the laser eyes. So yeah, GG. One of the Saurus warriors did well, but only one of them. Alright, what else do we still have? This one we've seen, this one we've seen. Siege versus Team Kings and Greenskins versus Dwarves. And what? Wait, what? Once again, we're seeing the Iron Drake formation. Alright, let's leave this till the last, because this is the battle of 2 this is the battle of 2 DLCs. Omens of Destruction versus Thrones of Decay. Well, let's go with Siege first. Siege and Tomb Kings. And let's see what Buena Roja is gonna bring. Ungrim Iron Fist. My fucking god. What is it? What is up with his changeling choices in this 20? So a front line of Zangors, backed up by some pink horrors. A front line of Zangors backed up by pink horrors in the sky, Screamers of Siege with Chaos Saucer of Siege, Soul Grinder. And leading the army is Changeling into Ungrim Iron Fist. Not even the dwarves take Ungrim Iron Fist. What the fuck? Buena Roja. And the team decided to take the Ungrim Iron Fist. This is crazy. Chaos Saucer of Siege with pink and blue fire. And blue fire already unleashed upon the Chosen of the Gods, chipping away some of their... Oh wait, no, that's the Soul Grinder, who is getting heavily counter-fired by the Chosen of the Gods due to that large model size. Because of the large model size, the burst shots actually lands very nicely onto the Soul Grinder, doing great damage. Like the burst shot, multi-shot might usually hamper its accuracy, but on the model as big as a house, accuracy is never a problem. For the undead, a front line of Nekara warriors and skeleton warriors mixed in together. Skeleton spears specifically, backed up by more skeleton spears and Nekara warriors, and a couple Ushabti Great Bowls, one of them Chosen of the Gods. I like Ungrim, he got all the Slayer upsides with a ton of armor on top, but I'm also not a Dowie player. Interesting. It is, but like, he needs to act. He is a very damage dealing character, but the problem is to deal damage, you need to catch your opponent. You need to catch your target, and Ungrim struggles with that. So I don't know. Sepulchral Stalkers here with a bit of a laser venom. We had laser eyes, now we have laser venom. Lich Priest of Light to lock down enemy targets, and High Queen Khalida coming in with a Necro Serpent. And yeah, the burst damage from the Chosen of the Gods, really lighting up that poor Soul Grinder. At least the pink horrors are able to do some counterfire at the Kepler Guard, who are weak to fire, I guess, but it's not great so far. Pink horrors are firing at the Necro warriors and the Kepler Guard, I guess, doing some damage. While the Zangors, pink fire and whatnot are actually hacking their way through all those skeleton spears just fine. The infantry department with all the Zangors is definitely has an advantage for those team's army. Screamers though are getting close to Ushabti Great Bowls. There are no cavalry to protect them, so the Screamers, it's free state. Screamers jumps in and starts surrounding and beating up those constructs with their anti-large armor piercing. Is that a Shim's Burning Gaze? And that is a killing blow onto the Soul Grinder. Soul Grinder no longer exists. But at least the Screamers are in the vicinity cutting down the Chosen of the Gods. But Spears are coming in to help. And their anti-large will come in very handy against the lightly armored Screamers who are glitching all over the place. Such is the way of Siege. It's only visual glitches though, I think. Yeah, they're pulling back. They need to get out of there. They can't really sustain themselves in a prolonged melee fight. But good news is, the Zangors are almost done with the front line. Wait, actually no. Kepler Guard went out against oh yeah, that is a problem. Kepler Guard went out in the front line department, and some of the Necro Warriors managed to get past the defenses and get onto the pink horrors, shutting down that Siege firepower. And the Screamers are stuck too deep in this kind of a blob fight, getting lower and lower in HP. The Shrieking Sky Rays are getting overwhelmed by spears and Necro Warriors. Ungrim Changeling though. Turn on Glorious Death, but it's pointless in this kind of fight. The Shrieking Sky Rays explosion ability, the Lamprey's Bite, did some good damage to the Skeleton Spears and Necro Warriors, but not a whole lot of damage. What is... Oh, High Queen Khalida dropping in her Venom Wave. Not a whole lot of damage, but yeah, just kind of better than nothing, I guess. Against Tomb Kings, I would definitely like a more mobile lot for sure. Especially, Tomb Kings have a lot of mounted characters and constructs are kind of fast. So Ungrim's too slow to catch up, to say the least. Chosen of the Gods have retreated to safety, now unleashing their shots onto those Tangors. And yeah, hammering those infantry formations. Pink Horrors are stuck in melee fights and are actually eliminated by those Nekara warriors and summon Ushabtis now. Kepler Guard just chilling. Not a single model death so far. They are regenerating. And yeah, I think that is going to be a Tomb King's victory. With the Sepulchral Stalker shooting down the rest of the Shrieking Sky Rays. And yeah. Shrieking Sky Rays really trying to shut down those Chosen of the Gods here. But yeah, they just got chased down to death. Pink Horrors. Oh, there's the one Pink Horror there. Retreated to safety. Now firing into the Sepulchral Stalkers. But Kepler Guard is in the vicinity. Yeah. Kepler Guard's in the vicinity cleaning up some Zangors, while Nekara warriors continue to give chase to the Pink Horrors. The tier 3 ability does substantial damage to skeletons and even High Queen Khalida and Ungrim doing some really good damage. I think it's Ungrim doing the damage, but as you can see here on the mount, High Queen Khalida can always pull herself out of combat, and Ungrim can do nothing about it. Just too slow as a Slayer character, man. Too slow, too bulk. Yeah, too slow, just unable to catch up to mounted characters and monsters. And it is going to be an infantry battle. We fast forwarded a bit. High Queen Khalida is getting low, but Ungrim is almost dead though, with Kepler Guard nearby as well. And the Kepler Guard can do good damage onto Ungrim. Ungrim is holding. What? His heavy armor definitely helps, I guess. The surviving Pink Horror is trying to unleash fire upon that Kepler Guard, while High Queen Khalida is trying to assassinate that Kill Saucer with Skeleton Spears screening. Kepler Guard is holding up the balance of power, and that Light Lich Priest of Light, by the way, holding up balance of power for the Tomb King's army. But oh, Slayer never die. Actually, this glorious death. Slayer refusing to die. Actually, that is not enough. He's not dead yet, so it's not that urgent to use that ability. And once that wears out, Ungrim will die again. So I don't know. It might not be the most timely use of ability. And the Teenage army is clutching it back. The Pink Horrors are firing into the Kepler Guard, who doesn't have a whole lot of armor, especially when they're too tired to use the armor now. So yeah, they are being worn down by... Oh, and Ungrim dodged! Ungrim dodged the Shim's Burning Gaze. Still at 110 HP, refusing to go down. And it is down to High Queen Khalida and the Lich Priest trying to win this one. I don't think... Kepler Guard is hanging on, but if they can't deal with the Pink Horror, they can't deal with... that. They can't... Like, the Kepler Guard alone can't win this. High Queen Khalida eating a volley of the Pink Horror fire. And Ungrim is close by. Kepler Guard, though, closing in those Pink Horror, will be silencing them as they try to slowly regenerate their HP. This is surprisingly close. Another Shim's Burning Gaze, but High Queen Khalida got killed. It's a mutual kill, but both sides lost their lord. But who goes down first? Kepler Guard is chasing after the Pink Horrors. The Zangor shatters, but Kepler Guard is still holding on to that leadership as the Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Chaos Sorcerer of Tinge Psycho charges them. The Kepler Guard are unable to catch up to the Pink Horrors though, being slower than their targets, and might actually just get kited to death. I think that's it, guys. I think this is going to be victory for the Tinge army. And yeah, that is going to be victory belonging to Tinge. That is surprisingly close. I thought the Tomb Kings have it. As they actually won the frontline engagements with Kepler Guard. But in the end, that one lone Pink Horror of Tinge clutched it. And Ungrim. Ungrim somehow clutched it. Catching High Queen Khalida and melee, just hacking her down. And it was a mutual kill in the end, which means the Kepler Guard did not have any ways to catch the Pink Horrors and can only just keep chasing after the surviving Pink Horrors. God, that's close. That's way too close than expected. Very nicely done by both players, Boyna and Manov, but in the end, Angrim clutched the win. Well, a perfect death for a Slayer for sure, even though he is not a Slayer himself, it is the Changeling. But yeah, Soul Grinder got killed early, but Angrim clutched it. I'm sorry, I take back what I said about Angrim. He managed to keep up with High Queen Khalida, catching her in a melee and just hack her down with his abilities, which is very powerful once he gets to activate his damage buffs. And on the other side, Kepragard and the Nekara Warriors did some work, but yeah, the Chosen of the Gods didn't really do enough, as they got caught by 4 Screamers. Chosen of the Gods and the Ushabtis and the Sepulchral Stalkers got caught by 4 Screamers, took a lot of damage in melee, and just got grind down. As the Siege army has quite a bit of melee troops left, yeah, I suppose the Blue Fire really counts as well, chipping away enemies' health. I didn't really pay attention to Blue Fires though, so feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, that was a very cool comeback. Actually, let me just quickly jump back in, cause if you remember correctly, I was fast forwarding the middle section of the battle, so we missed out quite a bit of that comeback action. Let me just quickly go back in. Apologies, but I'm just gonna check this one out again. Yeah. Yeah, in the front, at the beginning, the Tomb Kings lose, sniping out a bunch of those siege assets. Soul Grinder died, and one of the pink horrors got shut down, but the one that did not get shut down survived and managed to clutch this one back. Didn't really pay attention to any blue fires though. High Queen Khalida was just duking it out against the Screamers, which is a wise choice. Yeah, I don't see any blue fire. Oh, there was a Necro attack, but I guess Angrim killed him. And Necro Warrior is too slow to catch up to the pink horrors, and yeah, let's see. Oh, it's mostly pink fire. Okay, never mind. Yeah, Angrim. Just killing a bunch of characters. Cutting down those Nekara warriors with the help of Zangors, and smacking the hell out of the poor Necrotac. Yeah, the Necrotac also doesn't have enough AP to break through Angrim's armor. And then we fast forward there. Angrim getting a shit ton of work done, almost 1,000 gold worth of damage value so far. The one surviving pink horrors though managed to just clutch the game in the end, whittling down the Kepragard. Because Kepragard versus Angrim would still be a rough one, I think. But yeah. Oh, she used all her Venom stuff, maybe? Did she? Still one Venom stuff, but yeah. Oh no, High Queen Khalida trying to fight Angrim. That was the mistake. The melee buffs are not enough. Heroic Killing Blow, Red Death, Red Ruin. That's 125% damage increase, 991 armor piercing weapon strength with bonus versus large. Oh god, look at the damage on the High Queen Khalida. One hit and like knocks out 20% of her HP. Second hit down to half health. Third hit less than half health. Okay, maybe not 20% of HP, but still like 15%. Yeah. And she just went from 80%, from 3/4 HP to less than half, down to 1/3. Holy shit! Like if you get caught by, if Angrim catch you in melee, it's bad news for sure. But yeah, the remaining Zangor managed to grind through the rest of the Skellies and pink horrors works really nice against Kepragard. The pink fire as well. Yeah, like look at how much damage they took from the pink horror fire. This was a glorious battle for sure. But just need to fast forward this till the end. I think the Siege player got the win because the Tomb Kings player threw in the towel. Yeah, good stuff. Good game. That was a close scrap. I didn't expect it to be that close, so I skipped a good chunk of it. Alright, last battle, guys. One final battle. Greenskins versus Dwarves. A grudge match for sure. This time, Gorbat Ironclaw with a Goblin Big Boss and a Goblin Shaman. A front line of very armored orcs. 4 black orcs. One of them, that's not 4 black orcs. That's 7 black orcs, I think. Or is it 6? Let's see. 6 black orcs. 2 of them with shields. 4 of them. 3 of them great weapons, and 1 of them dual weapons, Crimson Killers. I mean, they technically have great weapons. Actually, no, they don't have great weapons. They don't have armor piercing. Never mind. A line of Squig Herds, so a lot of anti-armor, anti-infantry tools. And some Night Gobbles Vanguard deployed with no spinning loans. These are just regular Night Gobbles. They're not fanatics. One line. Wait, hold on. Gorbat Ironclaw with the orcs are the best, and the Great Leader is such a good ability. Plus 10 attack and defense. Basically, improving your unit by a whole tier. So yeah, very fair. It's just so good, man. Like for 150 gold. It's such a cost-effective item. Anyways, Night Goblin Big Boss with Squig Summon, and it's probably Sneaky Stabbing from the Night Goblin Shaman. It is. And it's just Sneaky Stabbing to boost melee attack and damage, armor piercing damage. That's it for army build for the Greenskins. For the Dwarves, we'll just do it in normal speed. It's just gonna be the Dwarves sitting back and waiting for the Greenskins to come at them. A front line of Dwarf Warriors backed up by a ton of artillery. Goblin Hewers, Goblobber, once again seeing this interesting Goblobber and artillery combo. We've seen it in the battle against the Chaos Dwarves. We see it again this time. This time with Iron Drakes for fire damage. Long Drone. Oh, it's the same build. It's the same build. Goblin Hewer. 2 Goblin Hewers. Holy shit. What the fuck? And Dwarf Warriors at the back. With less Slayer Pirates, I guess. Grudge Rakers. And yeah. The artillery is already putting a dent onto their Crimson Killers, onto the Black Orcs. They need to do as much damage as possible before they can close in. And though the Goblin Hewers might be in a bit of a problematic deployment, those Goblin Wolf Riders can always jump in and shut them down. Although they are Slayers and they have anti-large, so we shall see what happens here. But the Goblin Hewers might want to wait for those Black Orcs to get in range before they start shooting. So there's that. Crimson Killer is taking a lot of damage from the enemy artillery, especially from the... yeah, from all kinds of artillery, really. Oh, looks like the Goblin Hewers are being ignored by the Squigs. Squigs be taking the damage isn't too bad. They're not that expensive. And the Goblin Hewer has very limited ammo. Oh, but here comes the Night Gobbles. This is definitely not what the Slayer crew wants to fight. And they're firing into the... Oh, wow. The Squig Herd is absolutely deleted by Goblin Hewers. But the Night Gobbles are coming in to shut down the enemy artillery. Although the Black Orcs take a ton of damage from the Goblin Hewers on both sides. Even with their shields, that's not enough. I don't think they can block the access of the Hewers. So, yeah, there's that. On top of that, flaming damage, burnt effect from the Iron Drakes, forcing the Black Orcs to rout even earlier. So both of the Black Orcs shielded version are being pushed back. Damn, that sucks for the Black Orcs. Oh wait, no, one of them got into battle. And the remaining Black Orcs are also getting in battle, albeit a bit damaged. But they continue to fight on as they are the elites of the Greenskins. With the Goblin Riders, Goblin Wolf Riders charging into the back. Oh, looks like the Slayer crew managed to beat back the Squigs with their anti-large fighting power and solid melee stats, and they continue to fire this time onto the flanks of those Black Orcs who have unstoppable choppers boosting up their weapon damage and Sneaky Stabbing to boost their weapon attack. 84 armor piercing weapon strength, majority of that armor piercing too. And a lot has been turned on. The Greenskins are really trying hard to push here, but they're being driven back with the Slayers, with the Dwarf Warriors, with the Goblin Hewers even. And the Black Orcs are not doing enough damage to earn back their worth, with Dwarf Warriors closing in as well. At least these Black Orcs... Oh, these two Black Orcs stuck on one Dwarf Warrior unit. They are a bit delayed in terms of their push. They need to start splitting and pushing. It looks like they dealt with the Dwarf Warriors either ways, but the flaming attacks of the Iron Drakes are shutting them down, doing massive damage to them. And seems like the Dwarves are going to be holding their ground. Oh no, Goblins being forgotten on the far side. This is a bit bad. But yeah, the Slayers... the Slayer artillery ran out of ammo and are being thrown into the battle as regular Slayer with less models. The Greenskins are trying to push, but the Dwarves are definitely holding their ground with their Iron Drakes, with their artillery. Looks like some Night Goblins are able to push through though, as the Dwarf Warriors are dwindling in numbers. There's still one Dwarf Warriors on the field, but they are being forgotten. Oh no! Tactical reserves! They need to be remembered. But yeah. Long Drawn Slayer Pirates are pushing in, firing at the Squig Herds, and they can still be a decent melee fighter as well with a 46 melee attack, 48 in total, but yeah, they are a bit tired. Now Gorbet Ironclaw fighting Malachi Makaisen. Malachi Makaisen probably don't want to be in this fight. Cannons firing point blank, and looks like the Black Orcs are indeed driving through with their superior leadership, holding up their leadership, just pushing through all that fire and melee damage. Iron Drakes are still firing, but there's no more units to protect them. The front line of Dwarf Warriors have been worn down. There's still some units nearby, but it is down. The Dwarves need to go into melee mode at this point, and that means a lot of that ammo might actually be wasted in combat. Yeah, we shall see what happens soon, but Grudge Rakers are kind of being ignored. They didn't really do a whole lot. Oh, they did get a line of sight onto Gorbet Ironclaw, getting a nice volley onto him as well. Down to half health. Can they get another volley before they got dragged into melee? Nope, they can't. Although the Long Drawn Slayer Pirates are still firing into Gorbet Ironclaw, chipping away his health. Cannon crews are being pushed out of their artillery, while the Dwarf Warriors are being driven back, taking too much damage fighting Black Orcs, just an elite, and some of them armor-piercing combatant. Some of them NT infantry too. But Grudge Rakers are being dealt with by Gorbet Ironclaw. Malachi Makaisen turning around to just trying to poke him down. Can he do it? We shall see. Right now, it seems like Greenskins do have the upper hand, as they still have quite a few Black Orcs intact. Well, they're tattered, but they're still fighting. That's what's important. And the Goblin Wolf Riders can be tasked to run off the stragglers, or just disrupt Malachi Makaisen, preventing him from putting any more shots into Gorbet Ironclaw. Anyways, with a Y, I think that's gonna seal the deal, seal the advantage. Gonna nail in the advantage, nail the advantage of those Greenskins. Hacking through the remaining Dawi. Let's fast forward a bit here, as it is pretty much cleanup action. All those Iron Drakes and Grudge Rakers are being driven back by Black Orcs, and router units are being cleaned up by the Goblin Wolf Riders, and Iron Drakes getting caught in melee eventually, and Malachi Makaisen getting distracted instead of shooting as well. Thunder's Grudge Rakers have no choice but to just keep running away. Eventually they'll get caught up by the Goblins, and yeah, there's nothing the Dawis can do to bring this one back. With the victory belongs to the Greenskins, and that concludes this final battle of the tournament here. Let's go into the army performances and see what the units did. Black Orcs almost earning back their worth despite taking severe damage from all those artillery. Yeah. They did a good job there driving back enemy units, and these Night Goblins getting some really solid value, pushing back enemy artillery as well. The Squig Herds didn't do a whole lot of damage, but yeah, mostly the Black Orcs taking a lot of hammering, but managed to dish out the pain back. Just weathering the storm, eating all that damage, but using their superior HP pool, leadership, and immune to psychology to drive through the enemy. Not that there's... yeah, I don't think there's any psychological effects from the Dwarves here in this battle. But yeah, very nicely played by the Greenskin army here. Using a wall of metal and Greenskin muscles to force their way through the enemy artillery fire. And Goblin Hero got some decent damage, but not quite enough to carry the game. One of them didn't earn back their worth, being tied down by Night Goblins even. While the Iron Drakes, in theory, they can do well against infantry, but the armor on these Black Orcs mitigate a lot of that fire damage. I mean, they can still do decent work, but yeah, the armor does not help the dwarves at all. Having their explosives and fire damage reduced. While I would say, yeah, in this battle, perhaps the flame cannon is better than the cannon, maybe, but the cannon still got some good damage, using the armor piercing value to punch through those black orcs, disregarding their shields completely. But yeah, that is going to be it for today. Congratulations for the win of Skarbrand with the Dark Elves. And in the next tournament will be... next time it will be a Tides of Torment DLC battle. So I hope you all enjoyed this final pre-DLC launch tournament with all the pre-DLC units and all that. Whether you have been playing in the tournament or just watching. And if you like the stream, please do hit the subscribe button and on the channel, and keep your eyes peeled for more multiplayer action. Is that a legal amount of Black Orcs? I think the max you can bring is 8 units per variant. No, 8 units for all the variants. Black Orcs, let me just check actually. Reload. Let me reload the fruit rolls and green skins. So, you can bring 4 of each type of Black Orcs. And the Black Orcs with shields are counted as the same unit as the Crimson Killers. And for variant units, you can bring 8 total in terms of variants. So, you can bring 4 Black Orcs great weapons and 4 Black Orcs regular shielded ones. Or if you mix in the Crimson Killers, I guess. There are 7 Black Orcs in total on the field. That is still within the limit of 8 Black Orcs in total. You can bring, just that you need to have 4 in the shield, 4 great weapons, 4 without. So yeah, it's legal. But yeah, that's all for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all after the DLC launch. And in the meantime, be sure to subscribe to my channel and like this stream to keep your eyes peeled for more Total Warhammer multiplayer content, and of course, stay tuned for more tournament next week with and finally Tides of Torment DLC 20. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Tactical Lich signing out. Everyone have a nice week.